Keep all this to heavy is the head. I see the boat throwing. I'm too full with it. I gotta keep going. Kobe with the wins. You niggas just Ginobili. You win and only cousin me. Let's keep the ball rolling. No disrespect, Slim. Where is your check, Slim?
Welcome back to a new season of the You Weren't There podcast. It's good to be back. I missed y'all. I'm, of course, your host. At Me It Was Here. We got my boy, Chaz DL, back in the building and two amazing guests today. So we're going to get right into it. Chaz, give me your intro, brother.
Hey, Chaz DL, we back, like you see, Shad. Another season. It was good, family. I appreciate y'all, brothers, for joining us. So let's get into it. You know, a brief intro. Let's get it.
It's on you, Ju.
What it do? It's your boy DFG Jew checking in. Like you said, I'm just blessed to be here. Blessed to have the invite. You can find me on all platforms. DFGJU. That's DFGJU. All platforms.
Salutations. I'm Hazai Gold. Hazaiah. Last name Gold. MC, singer, hailing from gorgeous Prince George's. I have an album on the way called Am I Forgiven? Hip hop, soul, that whole feel. Been out here for a little minute. Lovely to be here.
For sure. We so happy to have you guys. I say this all the time, man. If I bring you up here, I believe in you. So whether it's the music and the talent itself or the work ethic and the effort that you're putting behind it, I think it's important to give our city, our people, our artists a platform to share what's on their hearts, to share what's on their minds, and to share what it is they're trying to give the world without any politics involved, right? So that being the case, we want to get into your journeys, right? So, Hazai, we're going to start with you. How did you get started in music? How did you get here?
Oh, man. My beginning starts with my father. He is a guitarist and singer, and he started me out with a drum set as early as 2, And yes, I was banging on pans. You know what I mean? 7 years
All
old.
y'all drummers were.
Nah, legit. A lot of rhythmic and spots, keeping times. You know what I'm saying? Especially for vocal musicians, definitely does start with the drums. But I didn't get into rapping and singing until I was 11. Living out of Richmond for a brief stint. That's my father's hometown. So, I didn't start taking serious until I was 15. Singing in choirs. But rap didn't really start hitting until we saw Wale start moving up, right? Mm-hmm. And 2007, I recorded my first track, and everything was cool, like just building it up, doing freestyles here and there, but we didn't see no action as far as like our movement taking place, until about 2009, 2010, 2011. Sir EU called me up and like, yo, need you to come out to ELC. We got action out here. And I was already having like doubts, Faith was dropping. This is past the snap era, Like it's just everything that was going on just didn't feel like I fit in. And then I came out that night and it was a whole thing. Ninth Wonder came out talking about, yo, DC got the new Native Tongues movement here. And that just like set off a whole thing with me because I am a child of Q-Tip. I'm a child of Fife, you hear me? So from then, just on the climb, project, single here, single there. But mostly, we had community. That was the highlight of, my stint, And I just kept pushing ever since, Now I'm married with a family and, no longer like the whole starving artist thing, like once had that drive, But, glory be to God that we still have it to create. And, given that impression, where I am now, still being able to do it, it's just a blessing for real. It's an outlet, it's a journal, it's a diary, it's all that for me now, So, just appreciate me getting to this point.
Amen.
Sure.
Ju?
That's real.
Top that.
My journey basically started pretty much my stepdad. He got me into music. Always kind of had an ear for it. doing talent shows at summer camps and all that good stuff. But just seeing him and his passion, he was a videographer, so he did a lot of docs for PBS, things like that. So he
You
always
mentioned that before.
so just videography stuff like that. So just seeing him and all his equipment and all that stuff. But he had a huge collection of CDs, like huge, probably the biggest to this day, the bigger than the record store, like no cap. So we'll go over there, my mom and my stepdad's house, and I couldn't listen. I lived with my grandmother coming up, and any secular music got thrown in the trash. Like she was breaking CDs in my face when I would bring them in the house. So like I had to hide them, and I'm a kid. I ain't the best at hiding spots. She go through everything and then find them and snap them in front of my face. So I would go over there, and that was kind of like my introduction. Because outside of hearing what you hear at school and on the radio, like it's cool, but to actually see all these CDs, you're like, man, this is dope. So the first 2 CDs I remember picking up till the day, it's like yesterday, is Jay-Z's Blueprint and Clip's Lil Willin'. And that was like my introduction into hip hop. So like you saying, the native tongues and just that origin of the essence of hip hop, I feel like, that's a great start. You know what I mean? Like you can't get no realer than that. You know what I mean? Like so that was literally my introduction, and from there it just went, took off from there. So here I am, years later. I really got into the music as an artist about 4 or 5 years ago. When I got out of the military, I was like, I sacrificed and did all these things for other people. I think it's time for me to do something, and do what I want to do for me.
Right.
And I always thought that, I was pretty dope at it, doing freestyles in the car and, just little things like that. But when I was getting out my homeboy that I was in the military with, he asked me, he was like, bro, what you gonna do? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna do this music stuff. And he like, bro, that's crazy because I'm gonna do this producing jump. I'm like, shit, we gonna link up. And then, a year and a half later, I had my first placement with Rocky Fresh. And he was the person that produced the track. So it was kind of like a full circle moment, with that. So that was pretty dope to experience that. And then, we just kept climbing, doing shows with Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, having placements with a lot of, industry on artists, things of that nature. So just working. That's my mantra, just working. So just
I
working.
dig it. I think like the paradigm between your journeys is like real interesting, right? So, Zai, you started years ago, right? You got years in it, and now it's just more of like a form of expression at this point, right? And then you really like new to it, but going like full force, doing shows with Conway, like big, right? But I always find like an interesting parallel, like in boxing, right? You have boxers who started when they were like 5 or 6, right? And then you got guys like a Jake Paul or even like a Frank Martin, right? Frank Martin started when he was like 17, right? Jake Paul started like 5 years ago, right? And still huge opportunities have come into play, right? But I always think it's interesting, like the difference between somebody who started something really, really young, the passion they had behind it, the story behind it, versus somebody who got into it late, who just has huge momentum, right? And I think like that's really like if you look at like y'all are really like the real live like Tank and Jake low key, right? No, I mean not to take it there, but I mean you really like because Tank started when he was like 5, right? Yeah. Jake started 5 years ago, right? Zai started super young. You started like 5 years ago. Wow. There's a parallel there, right? Oh and I always find it interesting because I think when I look at boxers who have started late but have huge momentum, right? There's like a real difference in how that appears to the fans listening too, right? There's a difference in a Jake Paul who's winning fights, right? Who's in the gym, who's taking it seriously, who knocking niggas out here and there, when he goes against a guy who's been in the game for years, right? And I feel the same way as a listener, right? There are new artists that I love, but if you put them in a room with like a Hov or a Nas, there's a clear and definitive choice for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I feel like as an artist, like, do you feel any level of like intimidation in not having like the same amount of years as some of the other artists that you see coming out of this area? Because I feel like that's what a lot of artists in this area, I think, who are like, you know, like late 20s, 30s have in common is like kind of starting as teenagers, right? But there is this new wave of like people like excited about something, wanting to do something, wanting to get involved in something and giving it all they got and seeing momentum from that. You know what I'm saying? So from the artist perspective, do you feel different like when you were around all of these artists who've been doing this since they was kids, you've been doing it for 5 years, but it seems like you got like the momentum on your side?
I don't feel intimidated. One, I try to get game. You know, I try to be a student in the game at all times. Like, I know it's things I still gotta learn about the business and things like that. Like, I sit back and watch, and then, you know, just put my own sauce to it. You know what I mean? Like I said in the line, you know, I sat back and studied the greats. I watched Jay-Z, I watched Nas. You know what I mean? I watched a lot of these dudes that came and went and see what they did and what they didn't do. You know what I mean? Instead of being intimidated, I'm gonna learn from it. Like, I still be hooping, but, you know, I grew up hooping, so I just kind of take that mindset and that mantra from it and just add the, you know, the hard work has always been there, and I just translate that into the music. So I work hard, you know what I mean? Like, that's easy. I say that all the time. Working hard is easy, you know what I mean? But it's just getting yourself out there and letting people know, like, I'm dope for real, for real. Like, yeah, I might be the quote-unquote new artist, but I'm better than a lot of these artists that's out here. One, because my work ethic, but two, my grind and my talent. You know what I mean? It's going to oversee everything. So, yeah, when I get in these rooms with these artists, I sit back and watch. You know what I mean?
Respect. Zach, what you thinking?
Oh, man. The irony is, when I first got hip to, like, our movement in the early, or should I say mid-2000s, like I said earlier, like, Sir EU hit me and, like, yo, come to ELC. EU was much younger than me. You know.
Shout out to EU. He was on the show last season.
Shout out to EU and the clan. When I came, it was like, oh, it's like about 6-7 year differences in here, you know? But the spirit was there. And that's what made it refreshing to see where first of all, being friends with me, there is no hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? But when we're there, it's like, yo, your skills show. You know what I'm saying? And that needs to be the forefront of everything. Like, Obi Say was in there, saw Logic in there, you know, rest in peace to Avion Andromeda. Like, used to see him all the time around the foot before I even knew he rapped. And, like, he stood up like this to me. But when he was up there, he was a giant. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, dog, like, we're all on the same playing field when we're in here. Steph is dope. Love to Steph, you know what I'm saying, for, like, opening, you know, NG Town Wayne. Like, it was...
Love you, Randy.
Yeah, love to all our homies that made it possible for us to look at each other and be like, yo, I see you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about ages at that time. And that's kind of also how I play it. Like, to this day, you know, I don't really look at age as much, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that I would say is if, you know, rap, spectators, sport, authentic illustrations, if you don't write, I have an issue with that. You can't sit next to me. However,
I hope y'all get to see the way his face looked on that camera,
you
bro.
know, it's just like I'm a student, cuz I'm a steward. You know, I'm a child of Little Brother. I'm a child of the Tribe, Jay-Z, Big, like all the people that they say these days are old. They out of touch. They off base. They not up on what's today. And it's like, nah, there's a lot of new cats that have that same spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because they too are stewards. You know what I'm saying? And then there's other people that are, you know, like the NLE choppers and young boys and all that. Respect to him. To be honest with you, I kind of like understand his technical ability.
You talking about Chopper?
I'm talking about young boy. Like, his technical ability is impressive.
He's very
cuz.
talented.
He is.
That's
bruh.
not really my type of music, but he's
Mine
very
neither,
talented.
But he is talented, like, and that it takes like doing this for I don't know how long for you to recognize that and be like, you know what, that's not necessarily, you know, what I like to listen to or whatever, but I see it though, you know. And for as long as I've been doing this and being around different spaces and all ages, bro, like you gonna find a little bit of everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? 50 years of hip hop. You know, it's so many styles now, so many different, you know, and then, you know, we can't forget about the ladies, you know what I'm saying? It's different races and cultures that have been embedded into this thing now. So, you know, that's probably my only hang up is like, yo, if you don't write your own stuff, it kind of takes away from the art, you know, but it doesn't matter how old you, I got 15-year-old, I know some 15-year-olds kicking it better than these 40-year-olds, you know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? They've been doing this for I don't know how long, so, you know, and then everybody got different styles of rap. Some people are lyrical, some people are chanty, some people are super hype, you know, like you guessed it, and all them Bama's, you know, Jamaica and all that. It's really your preference, but, you know, when we talk about the essence of it, you know what I'm saying, you can learn from these young ones too.
I agree with that. I think if nothing else, like, you gotta observe like the work ethic of these youngers, because I really think that that's what's separating them, right? Is that they outworking y'all at this point. Like there's a drive and a push, and I think like an understanding of like the necessity behind the technological component, right? We was just talking about this before the show. I hate having to use TikTok. I really do. I despise it. I'm on that thing. Make sure y'all follow You Weren't There podcast on TikTok, baby. But I don't like. I think because I was off the internet for a couple of months, I genuinely realized how much I hate the internet at that point in time. It was just very peaceful, and honestly, like the way I began to manage my time changed too. Right, I didn't realize how much time I was spending just scrolling aimlessly, and I think as a result of like not realizing how much time I was spending on that, I didn't realize like how much time I was wasting on that.
For
right?
sure.
And so like just taking that one component out of my life for a couple months helped me to realize like, okay, well there's like a lot better ways to spend like 3 hours in this day, right? And so I started like reading like a book a week. Like it was crazy how much I could get done. Less like social media. I'm not knocking it. I know we need it. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the line of work we in today. But at the end of the day, I always just feel like, man, I hate the internet because I hate that it dictates your success.
Yeah.
But that is the reality of the game that we in right now.
right
Like
now, yeah.
it dictates your success, and to like be internet averse, social media averse, I think it's gonna guarantee that you don't hit what you're supposed to hit the markets you're supposed to hit, the audiences, like the perspectives, like, and that makes me so sad. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think like, Jew, are you seeing that like as a newer artist, like the necessity of like having to participate in social media, internet, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, like all that, like
Absolutely.
because like you got so much physical momentum, right? Like you one of the few artists, I'm talking to y'all asses, you one of the few artists I'm seeing consistently doing shows, and not just doing shows, right? Because I remember when we was out there, it was an open mic available 3-4 days a week, right? So you could be out there consistently and you were able to like kind of physically build your brand and then use Instagram and Snap and like all of that as like an aside to what you were doing in the physical, right? And now the physical is less needed. It's artists with hundreds of thousands of followers who I don't even know if they've done a show in their own city or could pack a house in their own city. You know what I mean? So I always think like there's always going to be a necessity for what Jew is doing in the physical as far as like booking shows and making sure that he's staying in front of people in real life. But without like having a social media presence that's strong, it takes away from like all of that physical work, which is nuts.
It's just crazy.
It's insane. I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, if you don't have a physical digital footprint, it's damn near impossible to. I hate to say impossible, but pretty much damn near impossible to like. I
would venture to say impossible. I would say like in this era, era of like entertainment, whether that's sports, whether that's podcasts, whether that's whatever it is, I feel like it is impossible to be able to move forward in your life and your career without adapting a reasonable social media presence. I think it's impossible. Unless you live in a small town and like your entire, consumer base is like right there in your neighborhood, right there in your city.
Yeah.
But I just don't think like as somebody who's trying to reach a larger target audience,
Yeah, you
it's
gotta-
possible
Yeah.
to do it without social media anymore, which is crazy to me, right? Because do you remember when that wasn't like a thing at all? I do. I'm old enough to remember when like you could have a few followers on Instagram and it was always good to have the numbers, right? Numbers always work in your favor. But you didn't need it the way you need it now.
Yeah.
It is impossible to move without it now.
It's impossible.
If you dead on social media, you dead, period.
Yeah.
But to follow that up too, like I kind of put a spin on it because like I still, like bro said, I'm a student in the game. You know what I mean? So seeing the street teams and things of that nature. So I literally just had my first headlining show that I put, I had to sell hard tickets for and all that in October. And when I tell you, I probably put up a good 4,500 posters throughout the city, myself personally. Still doing that groundwork, still doing the street team, and getting acknowledged for it. It is a lane for that also, but you still have to be out here and promoting it and showing that, you showing a digital footprint. Yeah, I got a show coming up on the Instagram, or I got a show coming up on the YouTube, or, even this publication, hey, can y'all post this on y'all page type to get it to a bigger masses, to get your community even larger, you know what I mean? So it's steps that you can take, but it's imperative. It's imperative for sure.
Which is so wild that it's impossible to like build a brand without any social media at all.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, like when did we get there though? And honestly, like that's in every possible genre, right? Tank and Jake, great example. I think a big part of the reason, right, as a boxing fan, I love Tank. Some might call me a Tank sexual, you know what I'm saying? I've been called that before. It's
crazy.
cool, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. I know it's about to happen in November. But I think like when I look at like just Tank's career, a big part of the reason why he's the superstar that he is that social media presence. Because Tank is handsome and he's cool and he's better dressed than everybody else. Those are the things, right? Because if you listen to Tank talk, no offense, no shade with what I'm about to say. I love Tank. I just said I'm a Tank sexual. But what I'm about to, the reality is, he's a slow talking nigga. I mean, that's just what it is with the guy. He's a slow talking nigga. So it's not like he Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee ass nigga. That's not him, right? Really what puts him over the top is there's like a coolness, a demeanor, like a flyness to him. And that has been pushed by social media. Jake Paul is who he is because of Instagram and TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at two guys who are facing $100 million fight. Right, these not little things we talking about anymore. It's big money, big numbers, big brand deals, big attachments to having this kind of following. Jake Paul only matters because of social media, right? Jake Paul turned a small social media presence into $500 million boxing deals. Right, because he getting a gate, he getting $100 million for the fight, he getting a part of the Netflix branding, he getting brands coming in trying to buy into the fight to be able to participate and put their names on the marquee and on the ring. You talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being thrown around because a nigga got a strong social media presence. Tank is a superstar because of his social media presence. All you boxers got Instagram. Nobody care about your man Shakur. Do you know why? In part, because he a corny, non-dressing nigga, and that's the truth. Listen,
Oh man.
because I know you be watching this Shakur. I know you do. I done seen you. I see you be all in the stories. Listen, if he could dress, because he's not a slow-talking nigga like Tank, right? I think he's much more eloquent. If you're just talking about speech alone, he needs some work there, but he's much more eloquent. Right, so if you strip all of the facade away and you just listening to two men talk and fight, he's the much more eloquent boxer, right? And let you tell it, he's the much more skilled boxer also, right? That's the argument for why Shakur should fight Tank. But he the non-dressingest, not coolest nigga I ever seen in my life. And I feel like for that reason, he ain't never gonna be a superstar. I don't care what y'all say. All the talent in the world doesn't matter. It's a nigga playing up Watts every year who like that. And he's never gonna amount to jack shit. And that's not because he's not talented. Shakur is very talented, potentially the most skilled boxer in the game. But he just not a cool nigga, and I never want to see him ever. And I feel like that's why he ain't never gonna be a star. I look at Lamont. I'm sorry, we gotta go there because I've been holding this in. It's been a break since I've been out here. I've been holding this in. Lamont is tremendous. And to me, he won that fight. I've said that before.
I said that too.
My issue, though, is post-fight, right? The persona he's adopted. And don't get me, I get it. Like, you fought the biggest guy in the game, the biggest name in the game. You looked fantastic that night. The guy won't fight you again, which make him look like a duck. Then he take on this big $100 million fight and leave you in the wings. You got to talk about it because this is why we know who you are. Calvin said that. You was a nobody before this fight. If you knew boxing, you knew Lamont, right? Because I knew that fight was going to be the biggest challenge of his career, and I was right. And I bet with Lamont that night, frankly. As much as I like Tank, I was like, nah, skill for skill, this gonna be one of them ones. And I would argue that might be one of the fights of the year. We still got a couple more fights to go, but as it stands, fight of the year, right? Sure. And I knew it would be. But I feel like looking at his like social media persona, I watched Lamont's followers go up like 180,000 within a month of that fight of Tank. He had 22,000 followers maybe before the fight. And after that, it was 200 something. So I watched how that kind of thing can push you. And now you didn't judge that fight 3-4 times on your YouTube and every interview. It's like, oh, they asking me. No. Like, you do that with somebody who's not paying attention. You do that with somebody who's not smart as you are. You make a point to discuss that every fight. You need to discuss that because you fought Tank once, right? You had 20 some odd fights before that. He's reviewed that Tank fight on YouTube 3 or 4 times. I ain't seen you review one of your other fights yet. So even you know they don't matter. This social media shit is real, and I feel like Lamont is actually hurting his persona a little bit because he's kind of corny, and it feels like a little bit of meat riding at this point with this Tank thing. I'm sorry. I mess with Lamont as a boxer. I think he's fantastic, and I think he's gonna beat Pitbull ass. Honestly, I got him like 10-8 against Pitbull, really, because I just think he's too technically sound. Pitbull is a dog. He's relentless. He never gets tired.
Ain't got the power to go behind it.
Nah, Pitbull got power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think like Mexican boxers, just the style is different. I think it looks like it's a little less. Like, it looks less powerful because it's a little less polished. When you look at a Tank fight, like, there's precision in those knockouts. It's not just that he hitting, you know what I'm saying, somebody. It's that he hit a nigga right on the button, right? And a lot of his previous opponents have said that. Like, oh, it's not that he hits so hard. It's the accuracy with which he hits. And I think there's a polish that exists as a result of, like, how that all looks. Pitbull, I think, is fantastic, but he's not as polished because that tends to be the way of Mexican fighters. Yeah. Right, just like Canelo got exposed, right? One of the greatest boxers of all time, no question. Hall of Fame, first ballot, ain't no question about it. But you put him in there with Terrence, and the boy looked like an amateur.
Completely.
Because he didn't have like the same polish.
Nah, it's not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like that polish makes a difference, and I do think like you pay a little more attention to smaller details like that when you also have like a curated social media presence. I think there's I think that like some of that stuff plays into your style.
So you think it go hand in hand?
I do think it go hand in hand a little bit. I think like I do.
So all right, explain that again.
All right, so I think like when you look at like the most polished boxers in the game, right, and you look at their social media presences, there tends to be like a high level of curation with that too. There's like a look that goes along with that. Tank is a package thing. It's the fighting, and none of it matters if he's not as good as he is, right? But it's not just the fighting that intrigues you. Because you could say that Shakur or Devin or Ryan or Rolly or Teofimo or any of those guys is just as good as better. You could make an argument for that based on Tank's roster of fighters, right? But I think like Tank is a package in which it's not just about the boxing. Like, I'm flyer than all of y'all. I'm cooler than all of y'all. I'm a little more handsome than all of y'all. And also, like, there's a polish I exude in the ring that like you just don't seem to have. Shakur to me is his social media is like he fight. It's boring. It's
so it's just the character. Like, so social media is just the character.
Yeah, it's a part of the character that you play.
Yeah, so
it's part of the brand.
It's part of the brand.
It's part of the
brand. It's just part of the brand.
Because all of these are characters that they play. None of these are. We don't know these guys for real. I don't know who Tank is for real. And based on some of this information we be getting about the dude, I don't know if I want to. He seems like he be beating hoes up. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's true. I hope that's not true. But that's what they saying. I read in the news today. He got another lawsuit coming up that might delay the Jake Paul fight because getting sued by ex-girlfriend for abuse. So, you know what I'm saying? So, there's a persona that goes with all of this, though. Yeah. And I think, like, the boxers that lack polished in terms of how they carry themselves and in the social media, they also tend to pay less attention to the kind of flash you need in a ring to sell tickets.
I mean, because it's personality type.
It's a personality
yeah,
thing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
I think like Shakur get a stylist and somebody to curate that social media presence, he might be a star.
But
And a barber. You need a barber.
No, you just gotta.
That junk always crazy. The box is never even, brother. You got to do something about that. Let me tell you something. You're almost 30 years old. You're too old to have a barber that ain't stamped. You need to get it together. You need to call the nigga Marco or whoever he is. The Spice Ball 3000. You better call that nigga immediately. For your next fight, you need to call Spice Ball 3000 to get on it. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
No, you got it. No, but I mean, I agree with it. Really is the personality. That's all it is. You know, like if he becomes since he's trying to become the villain more, you see a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to be the villain. So it changed. Again, I always compare him to Floyd. When Floyd switched and started being more bravado, I'm just talk and back up what I'm talking about, it rises. Because now I want to see you lose, etc. Because at first, Shakur came in quiet, just handle business, quiet, boom. Now you realize I have to have a character in order to grow this. Yeah. And then that's like what it is. It's a recipe to it. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a character.
Yeah.
Nah,
you gotta have develop a brand and then not only have the skill and talent in your industry, but have the brand to, get those endorsement deals outside the ring, get your face on the billboards and
people
all
got
that.
to want to deal with you, period.
Yeah.
Like outside of your talent.
Yeah.
People have to want to deal with you. They got to want to hang out with you. They got to want to be associated for you. How long has it been since Cardi put an album out?
I couldn't tell you.
A brick is the answer, right? But it's as popular as ever.
But and that was
branding.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
She got the best brand in the game, male or female.
Yeah.
As far as artists are concerned, I would venture to say that Cardi has the best brand in the game because there is no one, not a Kendrick, not a Drake, who's waiting that long to put out another album and is still at the topic of every conversation. She's still at the top of every conversation. And it's been like 8 years.
Yeah, that's kind of unheard of.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kendrick don't get that kind of time.
Yeah.
He's close. But there's no other major label artist with that kind of push. Like when you have the machine behind you, the actual machine, who waits this long?
Yeah.
It's usually done by now, and you moving on to something else. There's nothing else going on with her except for music, really. She was in, I think, that Fast and Furious movie for like 30 seconds. It was fire. It was a fire 30 seconds. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? I was feeling it. She was stealing cars. It was cool.
It's the attention she grabbed with. It started with the relationship stuff.
You think so?
It's the attention.
It's the
you know what I'm saying? So the breakup that, everybody want to read and check in what's going on with that.
That's true. People do love a mess.
Stephon Diggs thing. So it just, and then now the album come out around all that. I got the attention now. And so, it's always, that's what, so when you said, when did it change? The internet changes when ads and sponsors and brands put their money towards the internet saying, oh, this is where the attention at. Because before it was always the same kind of, you had the physical, but before it was just limited to radio and TV. And so if you had that, that was just social media, for lack of better terms. But now
MTV days,
more people can get to social media. So now if I could just figure out some way to get attention, then now the ad money's coming my way.
Nah, facts.
And Cardi kind of, the lifestyle, the drama helped with the album.
Yeah, but there's also the likability. I don't want to understate that with her.
Or the dislikability. So many people, how many people was picking Nicki. Nicki got a cult following, for sure, right? So
y'all are insane.
So the amount of people I read that dislike Cardi was
yourself.
Crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now they was just getting the album to hear just so they could critique it to say, oh, she sucks.
Same thing with the Beehive.
That's it. So it's just that attention, man. That attention. And she knows.
I would say how you kids, please be careful how you market yourself. Because it really did start during the blog era, Mo.
For sure.
Like
shout out to Pat is dope, man.
Shout out to Pat is dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for a lot of in DC to BC, you know what I'm saying? 2 dope boys.
This is 50.
This is 50. You know what I'm saying? Ill vibes. Like it was a platform for wherever you was. It wasn't just DC. It wasn't just DMV. It was regional, you know. And everybody had like a time where they can just shoot back. Oh, you heard this though? You could download Z Shed Days. You feel me? Like, man, that used
Shout
to
out
be
to
a
Spinrilla,
time.
man. We
Nah,
miss you.
Spirilla,
Man.
We miss you,
yeah,
Spinrilla.
bro.
Rest in peace.
Oh my God, nah, for real, and
Yeah.
that's more like your
That-
time,
man.
for real. But what I'm saying is, like, what happened was people wanted to invest more in who you were. People wanted to know, okay, when you put the mic down, or would you put the gloves down, or whatever it is that you do, we want to invest more in who you are, and that will propel us ticket sales, that will propel screenings of the like. And I get it because we got submersed in it, but I didn't agree with it. And I'm be honest with you, I hated it at first. And that's what also led to me having my, you know, my hope degraded and like, oh, you know what, it's not going to be. Because, you know, I did come up under the elk of D'Angelo as well. D'Angelo took years off. And now we know he was depressed. God rest his soul.
Rest in peace, dude.
But he could, and the next that we probably see that done that recently was a Kendrick. Bro took years, almost a decade off. And it's not that he wasn't still working, but because of how he set up his life, there was a want because of how good the product he produced, right? But he could take that time away. I say be careful how you market yourself, because we're in a time where you can't just take time away. You can be overworking yourself like a Drake and be constantly in the cameras, constantly in the tabloids, the headlines, and other rappers' conversation, like we're doing right now, you know what I'm saying? And it can put you in a place where you can't breathe. You can't take a break. I do remember them, and for me, you know, being an MC, but, you know, overall musician, especially coming up in this area, you know, addicted to live instrumentation and all that, I believe in grassroots, and that's probably my thorn, if you will, when it comes down to modern day technology. It wasn't that it wasn't available. It's the fact that, yo, if I'm going to get these people, I'm going to be on foot with it. Like, if hip-hop started off as a corner representation of what we did, and then that spread it elsewhere, it came before the industry. That means that you was in your trunk. That means that you was at these open mics. That means you was talking to club promoters, asking, yo, who's the guy? And then you pass your CD, and if you had to pay to get it played, you would do that. You know what I'm saying? And now we're at a time where it's like you said, like if you don't have a social media presence, it was non-existent. I was so grassroots, I had 2 aunts working at Howard University, and they told me to my face, Jay, we can put you on for Howard Homecoming. It's not a problem. If you got a product, if you got your band together, we can do that. And I told them no, because I wanted to earn it.
What?
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You was tripping.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people did feel like that, and especially of today, a lot of people feel like that. But I was a purist in that, right, where it's like I didn't want it no other way, honestly, because I felt like it comes with a certain responsibility. For one, like D'Angelo was so pressured after he did the "How Does It Feel" video that he couldn't escape people talking about him. To be attractive, to be profound in speech. But also your music is great. Like this is before Pro Tools, kids. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he had to play, he played in real time, and there was no second, third, fourth, five takes. Like you had to get that down. After you finish doing all that, you're tired. You want the music to speak. Now it is not just about the music anymore.
Facts.
We want to know what kind of bar soap you use in the bathroom.
Not in facts.
Like, and it's crazy, but that's the separation between the two, right? I still feel like what you're saying is valid, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a little bit more for the stardom quality, because if you do a certain profession, I was like, oh yeah, certain things are expected of you. Like, if you're boxing Tank, oh yeah, bro, like that means that you are going for the gusto. That means you are going for belts. That means you are going for camera time. Like, I do need to see something that backs up exactly why you want it this bad. Because all of that packages, it's a package, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We saw Carter B on Love and Hip Hop, and of course, you know, it passed off a certain way, but she told you up front that she wanted to be a rapper. And because we fell in love with who she was, it was beyond the stripper persona at that point, and we were rooting for her at that point.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Because
she
you just liked
finally-
her. You just liked her.
We just liked her. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, the world.
And it was like, oh, a couple of these songs fire too.
You know what I'm saying?
like, oh, we like her. And also, a couple, like, Bodak Yellow was crazy.
Bodak Yellow was crazy. It was a moment. It was indeed a moment. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you said, it's like she's still in the top list. That's because people are yearning for who she is more so than, you know, all this other antics and whatnot. And Jake Paul is one of those instances where the antics superseded skill level. However, right, can he still get these tickets to go? Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like a catch-22. Which one do you want to be? Do you want just your skill just to speak for yourself or whatever? Or do you want the whole package? You want to be Prince or Michael Jackson?
Nah, facts.
But
You want to be Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
That's the
Nah,
balance.
facts. And I think that's the craziest part about it too now is like, I think people tell themselves, I've watched it happen with a couple of these local podcasts, where you tell yourself, okay, this is what caught fire. We're going to do it for a little bit, and then we'll transition into something else, like, you know, once we make sure we've got our audience solidified. But because this is what brought that audience in, you're not allowed to evolve
You're
in
not
some of those
allowed,
spaces.
yeah.
I'm watching it happen with y'all. Like, you got stuck in this space of, like, this is what made us hot. This is what got us huge. This is what gave us the numbers. This is what people want to hear from us. And now here you are 2 years later, and you promised that you was going to give more, and now you stuck in this box of talking about whatever this thing is, because that's what people want to hear from you now. So I agree with you completely when you say, like, be careful how you market yourself. Because I think that if you get stuck in a place of, like, your initial introduction that catches fire being something that's not really you at all,
Right.
or something that's like a quarter of your personality, you might end up boxing yourself into having to be that character for the remainder of your career, even when you want something else, right? So I think Tank is a good example of that. Somebody who, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm a father. I need to go to therapy. I need help. And this sport is not helping me. But now he a sucker because he want to get his check and roll out. Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't agree with the Tank dialogue here. Because the reality of it is, right, and I think I told you this, right? I think we had talked about this. Or I talked to so many people about this, I don't even remember at this point. But I know that Tank looked like a duck for this Jake Paul fight, right? I know that. You know what I'm saying? I live in the real world right with y'all. I know he looked like a duck. But the reality of it is this, right? If you take the Lamont rematch, right, where you got dogged in that first fight, frankly, the name, I think, is what helped you win that fight tremendously, right? You take the rematch before you take this Jake Paul fight, right? What ends up happening if you lose? That's a real possibility in that rematch.
sure, yeah.
And if you lose that fight with Lamont, you can bet your bottom dollar that $100 million is off the table. So now a $100 million check that you were guaranteed just for being you, just for the name on the marquee, gets cut by 50% or more. So yeah, you can go back and fight Lamont and get your check right now. Or maybe not fight nobody else and take that $100 million and go about your business, get the help that you need to live the life that you want, which I think seems to be his preference at this point. But I don't think that make him a duck in my mind, or make him less of a boxer, or make him less of a man to say, listen, I'm not going to take the chance of losing $100 million to appease you niggas, because y'all don't take care of not one of them 3 kids I
That's
got.
what it's
about.
Y'all ain't paying not one of them bills. And if I lose that Lamont fight and all of y'all turn against me, what do I have then except that you glad that I did it for your entertainment? Who are you?
To see the sad part is, I agree with you. That's the problem is with artists now and talent. You everybody right now in the world is trying to go crash out and go for peace. But unfortunately, the artists who y'all entertain and do it for, that's their piece. Is watching y'all do y'all art and do this. That's their piece. So now you suck. You're a lame. I don't like you because you taking away my piece while you going to find yours. And that ain't fair.
Right, yeah.
But that's what's going on.
Nah, that's real.
And so, and that's what these people are doing, man. They cashing out and going for peace. You know?
But how do you balance, like for me, I don't get it fucked up. I'm in it for the, you know what I mean? I want to get my piece of the pie. I want to get my bread and take care of my family, no question. But I'm also chasing legacy, though. Like, I'm trying to leave a stamp to say that, damn, DFG Jew was one of the best to come out the area, if not the best.
Okay.
How do you balance that with the I want to get paid and
Yeah,
get what
desire
comes
for
with
a
it.
legacy
But
versus a desire for a check.
exactly what's the balance with that?
That's tough.
Now, all right, here I go. All right, y'all know me. All right. Now, the balance, how you describe it, is about to be non-existent 2026, right? You got to pick a side now, right? Because you're going to get what you want for monetarily, but that's on the back end, right? So if you doing it for the love and, for you, that type of thing, go that route. And then on the back end, you're going to get what you came here for, which is monetarily. But right now, if you come in and try to balance it and you jump on certain opportunities to get you that bread, like you said, you're going to get stuck in the box. Your soul ain't going to be fulfilled. And that's the thing. So right now, man, you got to choose a side. And because at the end of the day, man, your talent and work ethic, that's going to rise at the top. And I'm noticing that even with the verses that's going on. I look at everything spiritually. The verses, Cash Money, No Limit. Cash Money is the successful, the commercially success, the smoke and mirror. That's what everybody want. But P showed you just stay down, do your thing. It's the authentic is always going to rise in the end.
And there's so much loyalty in just being yourself. That's the other thing we saw with that Cash Money versus because everybody from No Limit showed up. Everybody showed up in uniform, ready, prepared. And then you look at Cash Money, it was a mess over that joint. And it's a mess with that organization. It's a mess with that situation.
So
it's important to pick a side these days.
So my word, I will sum it up and say gratitude. And when I say gratitude, be pleased with what you have. Master P just pleased what he had. I'm grinding out the trunk. I'm happy I got sales out the trunk.
Facts.
And in the end result, bro, you're going to get what you want, but you got to be, because otherwise you get greedy and want to chase. It's never going to be enough if you go that route. Yeah, it's never going to be enough. Facts.
We ain't getting into that. It's a new season, man. We off that nigga, man. He done, man. He done, man. That nigga done, man. We ain't talking about that nigga no more.
Oh, man.
It's done for Drake, man. It's over. We never discussing him again. But I agree with Chaz completely. I think gratitude is extremely important. I think authenticity is the other thing. I think knowing who you are early enough to be able to, ensure that that's the image that you're portraying. Because what you don't want to do, like I said, is to end up pushing something that's a very small piece of who you are or something that only represents you in a very small moment of your life, and then all of a sudden that becomes the only thing that people want to see from you. And it happens everywhere. Like, it's happening in sports, it's happening in music, it's happening in boxing, right? Like, everywhere that you look, I feel like the people that are the most authentic are the people really getting the things that they want out of this life. I look at Coco Jones and her engagement to Donovan Mitchell, and I think that that's beautiful because I've, as a Coco Jones fan, I've watched her manifest that since she came back. I've watched her speak into existence. Every podcast, every interview, every piece of herself that she shared, right? I've watched her, manifest the life that she has. And also put that act of, gratitude into place so that you never ever comparing yourself to somebody else's journey, right? Because what is that, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. So if you comparing your journey to somebody else's, if you avoid looking at, okay, well, last week I had this many streams, this week I got this many streams, last year I had this many streams, this year I have this many streams. If that's not your process of comparison and the only comparison, and you start looking at, well, what does his numbers look like? What do her numbers look like? How many people was at her show? Well, how many shows did he do this year? I think that's how you end up boxing yourself into this pit of misery. Because instead of comparing you to you so that you can manage and be accountable for your own progress, you putting your journey and your race in line with someone else's when you have no idea what it took to get there, right? I think for so long we looked at those large scale artists as being the epitome of what it meant to be successful. When you look at Drake now, do you want to be him? That's real. Right? When you look at Cole and his extreme journey of success, a grassroots rapper, right? Somebody that I feel is representative of the kind of music that you guys are trying to put in the forefront. And you look at how these people hate being famous, how these people hate being in the press, these people hate doing interviews, these people hate being seen. There are so many people who idolize the lives of these people who appear to have all of this tremendous success. But when you listen to these people talk, they don't seem happy with it.
I'm telling you, that's why I always ask artists when I work with them, what you want fame or you want
Money.
the money, fame, or you want the community or the love of it. I always do. You want the fame and you chasing it, bro. You're gonna be. It's a depressing road.
I think so.
It's a depressing road,
I think so.
bro.
Because then you always have to like achieve more than what you achieved last.
It's
like
never
what you're
enough.
doing right now is never
Yeah,
enough.
it's
right?
never enough.
That Iceman album was supposed to have been out.
Right.
Right, and we're not talking about him specifically. We're just talking about the trajectory of how an artist of that caliber operates in music. It's been a long time since he's put out an album,
For sure.
which is completely avoiding of his usual pattern. Right, there's a reason for that. That Iceman project was supposed to have been out, but it's not because he ain't popping and it wouldn't sell, and he would never embarrass himself like that. And moreover, UMG would not let him look embarrassed like that because that's embarrassing to them for their biggest artist who was in the midst of an appeal for a lawsuit, corny loser, would create this album with all of this success, right? 10 number one albums or however many it was, and then this one flop in lieu of what we all know was a defeat in a battle.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you on that road of like, what's the next platinum record? Like what's the next big success? What's the next big tour? When are we hitting the European leg of the tour? When are we hitting the Asian leg of the tour? Like when you look at like the trajectory of his career, right? He tours for very, very long periods of time.
It's not
right?
healthy.
And it almost feels like a nigga don't be wanting to go home. Which almost makes you question what he got to go home to for real. And yeah, he got a kid that Pusha T made him start taking care of. You know what I'm saying? And he got, you know, he's in the record books forever. Ain't no question. The boy Elvis, the boy the Beatles, and all of that. But he never looks all that. I'm just saying, he never look all that happy to me. So when we talk about what you run out the game, I think you gotta mention him because like he was the marker for so long of what it meant to be a success in all of this, especially because he started as a backpack rapper. Right? We look at all this commercial success now, but it wasn't always that. He started out one of us. Right? You don't think so?
I mean, that's debatable. Who my man that who be
No, you're right. Ty would get mad at me for
Ty,
saying that.
you feel me, bro?
But like, I think like on the surface, right?
Okay.
Tip of the iceberg, right?
that's fine.
Much more beneath. But
sure.
on the surface, he felt like one of us for a long time. It's why the illusion lasted for so long, right? When you see Superman versus Clark Kent, right, and he puts on the glasses, are the glasses really the reason why you don't know who he is? No, it's because there's a hypnotism mechanism in those glasses. Like, I think that there was like a mechanism in his music, the method by which he went about it, that made him harder to see for so long.
I agree.
That's deep. She said it. I never understood why they never knew Superman was this guy. I swear.
This real talk I'm giving you, man. Like, and the other side of that too is like, I think like not necessarily the morality, but like the type of soul that you place in music, right? There's soul in all music. Contrary to popular belief, there's soul in all music. It's just not always righteous.
That's why I wanted to bring it up when you talked about the verses.
There's a lot of foolishness in music. Cash money. So like, I think that like when you look at like the nature of that music, it felt very honest, and I think that's what appealed to a lot of people. But when you look back on that, like none of it was like really positive though, and none of it was really all that uplifting except for club songs, and I don't know if that counts because there are spirits associated with that. So like when I look back on it, right, because I was a Drake stan. Everybody knew that I was a Drake stan first half of last season, if we being real with this shit. So I get it, right? But at the end of the day, I think like the soul that you put behind the music and what you want the intent of that to accomplish is important. And I think like it's the same thing with your persona.
Yeah.
Right? I think when you like value authenticity, when you know who you are, or at least you're on a path of trying to figure that out without letting people cloud it with a bunch of foolishness, I think that comes through in the art. I think that authentic music, authentic presentation in whatever your art form is matters. It always has and it always will. It's songs that people don't find for 20, 30 years. And sometimes that's the road that it is. But at the end of the day, I do think like the level of like soul and honesty and humility and also goodness that you put in your music matters when you're talking about like the karmic resolution of that long term. And I think like Drake is kind of reaping some of the karmic resolution of some of that bullshit he put out that we was hypnotized by the glasses on.
Agreed.
And I think conversely, when you look at a Nas, when you look at a Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
When you look at a Cole, these artists who don't put out music as often as everybody else, but it's always authentic, it always feels real, it always feels honest, and it's always like a real journey. So I feel like so much of like, and this is not just Drake, but I think when you look at a lot of popular artists, the music is just like Instagram. It's just a highlight reel. None of it's really real. None of it's authentic. None of it feels deep. It's a highlight reel of everything that's going on in your life, right? Or like if there's any like rod wave kind of music, right?
Depressing.
Yeah, it's like it's
yeah.
one or the other.
It's
And I don't
original.
want music
Yeah.
that's one or the other. I want music that takes me on a journey. That's the kind of album that I want.
Holistically.
Because I'm still a person listening to the whole album. That's another thing that's changed with music too, right? And we talked about that before, so we're not gonna get into that too deep. But that's the reality of music now, right? You get 15 seconds to blow somebody's mind, and if you can't do it in 15 seconds, there's a good chance this will not hit. So I think like when you look at the music that you love from throughout your life, like there's a journey that they've taken you on, not just on that album, but in like the entire process of their music. To me, that's why I think Hove is flawless in a lot of ways up to a certain album. I would say maybe up to, no, honestly, like he kind of flawless all around. I'm trying to think of like, he had a couple, man, you know what I mean? Like, he had a couple, man, joint.
What you
I-
gotta say, bro?
Yeah, man,
Nah, I
like,
need
he
to
a
hear,
Nas
bro.
fan, though.
Yeah, I'm a Nas
He a
guy,
Nas
though.
fan.
Oh, for sure.
And so for
Absolutely.
sure,
I like Jay on the back end. Like I like Reasonable Doubt for sure, and then in between there, I'm like, I know the business. Again, Jay was like that too.
Yeah.
Commercial success, business. Now on the back end now, Jay started giving his authentic self. You know what I'm saying?
444.
4-4, yeah.
444, but you know, even a little bit, like even though people hated Kingdom Come, but Jay was giving, he was vulnerable.
Yeah, he was vulnerable.
I was really, I like Jay, so it was Reasonable Doubt in between Black Album, I started liking Jay again. And then, so, you know, that's how it was with
No
Jay.
Blueprint?
It was, to me, it was
too
again,
commercial.
it was too commercial to me. I understand why people like it, because he had the best producers, all
for
that.
sure, yeah.
But, so when we talked about Jay talked about the verses, of course I'm going to put Nas, like, why are we disrespecting this man? And we talking about goats of hip-hop. That's the only other person they talk about was either Jay or Nas.
That's true.
So you can't
As far
take
as who's still alive.
still alive, and you saying this man can't stand next to you?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
doing, man?
I said it before and I'm gonna say it
Doing,
again.
man?
LL standing next to this dude. I don't care what Jay say.
Standing next to Jay?
I'm
I'll give
putting
you that, though.
LL next
No,
to
I'll give you
I
that.
don't care what
Facts.
nobody say.
I will give her that,
I
for
think
sure.
LL can stand right next
But
to
I
Jay.
told you he's
And
a.
I think honestly, there's a lot of LL's music that's aged a lot better. There's a lot of bad beats on them Jay albums.
I told you Jay's a LL baby.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's an
We're
LL
all
baby.
LL, yeah.
I be trying to tell y'all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach.
Absolutely.
That's all of y'all are LL babies.
Yes.
You do not have this honest, emotional music that women can relate to if you don't have them. There was nobody before him, and everybody is a predecessor of what he gave music. Period. He don't get the credit because these youngers don't know who he is. But you
And he's
don't
not loud
have
about
a
it.
Drake or Cole or Kendrick or any of these guys being emotional and vulnerable on a record if you don't have LL Cool J.
Yeah,
He was the
stop.
first.
Yeah, he was the first.
But because of
He
that-
made it cool
Yeah.
to cry on records to girls.
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody doing that before him but Lenny Williams. Nobody was doing that but them singers. Them rappers wasn't doing it.
Shout out Lenny Williams.
Them singers was begging. Keith been begging for years to make it last forever. But when you talk about rappers, who you know that was making emotional music before him? There was people making real ass music. You know, Melly Mel and Grandmaster Flash, and you know, I'm a student of the game. So there were clearly like authentic hip hop artists. That's what the nature of it all starts
That's
from.
where the
But when
nature
you talk
is.
about like music girls like, which is what moves the needle and whether or not you're going to be successful
this day.
in every era,
Yes.
there is no one before him. So it's crazy to me that Jay would say nobody could stand on that stage. Because I think, like, hit for hit, nah, L could go.
L could go.
Yeah.
For sure. He could go.
You got
But
10 joints off the break. Like, first of all, you ain't gonna get to play but so many songs in this verses. It's not like this is an endless process. Let's be real. So when you look at the real verses, you get maybe 10 to 20 songs that are perfectly curated, which is why you need a perfect curation. When I look at like Brandy and Monica's verses, to me, I really am not a Monica fan, to be real. But I thought that she curated that so perfectly that it made her look like she could stand with Brandy. And to me, that's not necessarily true when you go on album for album.
Right.
But that's not what Versus is. Versus is not album for album. It's song for song. You pick your best 20 and see what it does. So I think if we talking about 20 like bar for bar, nah. I think it's a whole lot of niggas who could stand in that ring with Jay. I think that statement is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Especially like
And
the
I
audience
love
of
Jay.
Versus too. Like who's watching? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know?
These kids ain't watching that no way. So you talking about your top, your best 10, your best 20? Man, I got 6 rappers off the top of my head who could stand in that arena with Jay, including T.I. I done said it before.
Oh, sure.
T.I. had a crazy run.
Yes.
One of the best runs in hip hop.
I ain't gonna lie,
Tilted hat T.I. was untouchable.
T.I. was-
You telling me that T.I. don't got 20 joints to stand next to Jay with? I don't agree with that. LL done got 20 joints to stand next to Jay with.
I mean, this is all right. This because I'm with her.
Drake got 20 joints to stand next to Jay with.
I'm with her.
Yes, he do.
I'm with her
Everybody
to
thought he was a lame.
all right, here we go. I'm with you to a degree, right?
Okay.
Drake. No, I'm tired of talking Drake. We just brought another season in, and we still talking about it. But Drake,
just
no,
saying,
because we talking because
Versus.
All right, we talked about soul. Jay got more soul than Drake, so Drake loses that.
Okay, fair enough. He ain't got more soul than L. He don't got more soul than T.I.
This is why I'm with you. I'm with you, L. T.I. I know he had to run.
And I'm talking about like T.I. was like this the thing about T.I. T.I. had albums full of hits. You get a 12 song T.I. drink, 8 of them bops.
Yes.
He got 8 bops on a 12 song jump.
That Paper
10
Trail,
bops on a
that
15
Paper Trail
song
jump had,
jump.
Paper Trail
Only reason
by
I
itself had that.
would give Jay the nod on.
He pull out that hey, let's get away. I'm finna faint on stage.
Only reason I would give Jay a nod over T.I. is because he just bring him out, so he's sampling.
Yeah.
Nah,
Boom.
facts.
And same way I'm giving Nas because you got to sample so the influence. That's on the reason.
Nah, that's
royalties to this day.
But I'm with you though. T.I. people sleep on him.
They sleep on him.
I think
His run was ridiculous. And guess what? T.I. was a rapper who could rap his ass off. No gimmicks, no nonsense.
Yeah.
He was a rapper's rapper.
For sure.
He was talented on every level. He had cadence, he had bars, he had depth. He could give you music that was holistic, but he could also give you music that had a message to it. And you listen to him evolve as a man in those albums, which makes him different from a lot of these other artists.
Facts, yeah.
So, I'm giving you talking about can't nobody stand on that stage with you, Jay. I don't agree with that. I think T.I. can stand right there. But my question is, are there any artists in this era that could stand with him? I could give you 5, 6 old niggas that could stand up there with him.
This era?
Let's
When you
say
say
like
this era,
let's
give me
say
a
like
time
the
frame.
Drake, Wale, Cole era and going forward.
They're babies.
No one?
Yeah, they babies.
Yeah,
They
they're
babies.
babies of him. So
Babies.
Man,
Because I can little bro you on this stage. It's just, I can't.
Touche.
It's just,
Touche.
That's the only reason why, even though I agree LL, the generation gap is kind of just, you know what I'm
But see,
saying?
my whole thing is this though.
Nah, here real quick though, because to her point, LL got 5 generations.
He do.
He done had hits in all the he done had hits
He do.
in all the eras that Jay had hits.
Who playing at the skating rink? Who playing at bowling? Who playing in the club still?
That's real.
I Get Around the Way, girls. No, that's still going to this day. It's kind of like Michael
This
Jackson.
is for my number one.
Like, yeah, like he got that.
Still listening.
It's about impact. You know what I'm saying? And I think LL has impact more than Jay.
Facts. He do.
Why do you
And
say
he's not
that?
loud about it.
He do.
He's not loud about it at all. I
He's
remember
gotten a
he did
little
that.
louder the last year or so, but I
I
feel
learned the
you.
last year because he got pissed off. Academics shouted him out, and then and he took control of that, as he should actually, because he made it a teaching matter.
Facts.
You know, and that shows the character.
Teaching
of
moments
him.
are important.
It's 100% important because if people are still wanting to do this thing or whatever, like it's like you said, like which one you want to be. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that he did that. I felt like he's probably one of the more seasoned, that's still alive. The brother married, he got a family. Like there's so much to say about him as far as all the things that he curated. And he just
And
didn't he
also-
come out with an album last year?
Yeah, last year.
Last
But
year,
you,
year
you
before,
gotta
something
think
like
though,
that,
to
yeah.
go back to the point what you were saying, like I think because he's into the acting and all that, people forget about the music.
No, that's real. I was gonna say that.
You know what I mean?
But also, I think for that reason, you need to give him respect because he made a transition that very few of these artists ever make when they all want to.
Yeah.
They've all tried to. Nicki was in a movie for like
Barbershop.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
She was in I don't even remember the name of it,
She
but
did
I
Barbershop
remember.
3.
What you call? I don't even remember the name of it. I don't honestly. I just remember she was
Common
somebody's
do a good
secretary.
job of that,
for
though.
15
I was just about to say
Common, a
Common,
great
bro.
actor, bro.
Oh
No, he's a
my
phenomenal
gosh,
actor.
bro. And his albums are timeless.
Ice Cube,
Timeless.
Ice Cube.
Every
sure.
single one of them.
Yep.
Ice Cube can't stand on stage with Jay.
Ice Cube can't. Yeah, sorry.
You know
Sorry,
what it
Cube,
is?
but-
I mean, culturally,
I love-
culturally you could.
Culturally, yeah, as far as impact.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you talk about standing on a stage with
Just
Jay,
records?
there's just so much to that because Jay wasn't just like lyrical, like he had hustler music, he had songs for women, he had songs that was bops in the club, he had songs that were deep, he had songs that was just about
Yeah, no,
flashy,
for sure.
rich.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he really hit you on every level. I think anything you going through in your life, you could probably find a Jay-Z quote for it somewhere in a song.
Somewhere.
So I think like that's really like, and you got to think there was a very significant period of time where he was like a pop culture icon.
Yes, yes.
You don't have a Kanye without him.
Right.
So much of like who Kanye saw himself as an artist, maybe not the style of music always, right? Even though the early production is very reminiscent for obvious reasons. But like when you look at like who Ye wanted to become, it is based on this idea of Jay-Z.
Exactly.
Now, I think the reality of who he realized that these men were was very traumatizing, and we see the result of some of that too. But when you talk about just like the persona you're basing your character off of, you don't have a Ye if you don't have a Jay.
Absolutely.
And you don't have anybody if you don't have a Ye.
Right now. Yeah.
Every major artist of the new era is a product
Is
of
a
him.
product.
Facts,
Yeah.
yeah.
He is literally like every branch starts with that tree.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, there's a lot of, I think Jay, like in the later years, that was modeled after Ye a little bit. Like realizing like my little brother done surpassed me a little bit.
For sure.
So, and I think it's
Yeah.
only really like his mental health that stopped him from being
That's the only thing.
like,
The icon that. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that stopped him from continuing to be, because it's not like he wasn't one. at
No,
one point,
facts,
right?
facts,
he
facts.
will forever be one, right? Like
But that
somebody who did
trajectory
it,
of a
like the all around creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clothes, music, fashion week. Like there's no like
We ain't
billionaire
never seen that
status,
before.
like huge
Never.
tours, like, and also like a creative that you believed in. He was the creative's creative,
Yes.
right? It's only the mental health struggles that deterred that.
Understand.
But it wasn't the talent. It was never him. When you look at, like, I think if Ye magically got it together, right, and comes out with an album backed by a clothing line, backed by a shoe right now, it's selling out everywhere in the world.
For sure.
Jay-Z puts out an album and a clothing line right now, you don't give a shit.
No.
I don't need to hear another Jay album,
I don't need
personally.
to hear another album.
So
I'm good.
I don't need to hear another Jay album.
Respect.
I really don't. I think I'm good.
I'm
Damn,
big-
damn,
I'm big
man.
good,
I really
bro.
like
That's tough.
you,
I
Braun,
wanna hear
for sure,
another-
but I don't need to
yeah.
see Braun play no more seasons neither. Some of this, we got to wrap it the hell up. I'm serious. Like, enough is enough for some of
For
this.
some of it.
Ah, damn.
I could listen to another Nas album. But
See
I
that?
could listen to another Nas album too.
My man, see, but damn, but even
that's the renaissance.
This is coming from a
Every
Nas
10
fan.
years,
I'm
I
like,
feel like it
damn, Jay, y'all wouldn't listen to y'all man's Jay no more.
Nah, I'm
Good,
good.
Damn.
I don't need to see Braun play no more neither. Like Chris
we
Paul
good,
need to
bro.
wrap it the hell up. Like
Listen, talk
some
to
of this
your
shit you need to
son,
wrap
sit
it
down.
up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We've heard enough.
know when to leave.
Hey, man, hey.
And I think that's an important part of your
Prove my
legacy
point
too.
right there.
but I was about to say, but what's the difference between Jay and Nas? Like, if you saying you listen to another Nas album, but you want to listen to another Jay,
Son, we could talk, okay?
Yeah.
On this topic
This the
alone,
time.
we
Let's
could
hear
This
it.
what I'm
I'm
saying.
just-
What you
That's
got?
What's
This
the
the time,
difference
right?
between
Talking my
Jay and
language.
Nas?
no, I'm just saying, like,
What does Nas
I'm a
have that Jay
Nas-
doesn't have?
What?
Let's talk
that you
about
still
it.
want to listen to. I mean, I'm not knocking because Magic 1, 2, and 3, King's Disease 1, 2, and 3, all fire, all fire.
All of them.
I'm just saying, all fire.
All of them.
But I am a whole fan, you know what I mean? And I'm
Oh,
a Nas
okay.
fan.
All right.
So I'm just saying, what's the difference between not wanting to hear a Jay album, but wanting to hear a Nas album?
I'm curious too.
It is a piggybacking off of what we mentioned when it comes to soul. Nas just won that deal, and Jay's flopped. Character has a lot to do with that.
Ooh.
And we've seen in real time some of the big ones. And for the sake of discretion, I'm not going to mention all these names. But if you are a student of the game and you've seen how these Bammers move, we just gonna leave a little room for your imagination. We know some brands where we highlighted junior, but we saw how the senior moved, and then that is literally the plummeted of the entire legacy. All right? Now, it's a thing in the streets, and I'm not a street dude, but if you from the late 80s like myself and you had some ties to, I don't care if you from the burbs or not, you got an in, especially if you hip-hop. We've seen where the OGs get a little tired of doing a lot of the movement themselves, and they look to the young bulls to do a lot of that carrying for them, to the point where they start even speaking for them. They start carrying for them. And then, out of nowhere, a snake move happened. And because the one that was trying to, like, you know, we admired these people for how they looked, how they carried themselves. They were black, they were young, they was getting it. You know, they spoke with such integrity and all of that. But whole time there was like some dirt that we couldn't necessarily pinpoint for real.
Nah, I think like that's the thing about Jay. He been dirty from the jump though.
Once again, the
He
mirrors.
never
The glasses, like
this nigga was never my role model. Like I was always a Jay fan, but I remember when he stabbed Un. I remember when Beans got out of jail and he wouldn't take him, and he ended up going back to jail because he didn't want to be responsible.
you listening?
I remember. I ain't gonna get into the Beyonce thing, but I'm old enough to remember what them numbers really look like. He was never a hero to me. But I tell Chaz that all the time. These niggas are not heroes. We used to say that a lot in the beginning of last season. Like, I don't look at, and I don't think anybody should look at the artists of hip hop or any genre as heroes. These people are not heroes. They're just human beings. And you don't actually know them just because you got a piece of their life experience through an album.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always like, nah, these are artists that I like. These are artists that I respect.
Right.
These are artists that I appreciate the journey of success that they've laid out and kind of showed us a little bit of the, no pun intended, blueprint on how to do some of these things. But these niggas are not my role models because I have parents.
Exactly.
So it's none of that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nas too. He got dirt out there too. I don't know.
Nas
I don't know if
actually
him
does
or
have some
Khalees.
dirt
I
out
don't know
there.
which one of their stories is real.
Yeah, he
but
has
she got
some
stuff
dirt
to
out
say
there.
about him too.
You know.
And her story been consistent for the last 15 years. So some of it got to be true. None of these men are heroes. These are just men. And I also remember a time where Nas, who seems like the deepest and most introspective, would not touch a liquor brand. When he turned down a Heineken deal that then went to Jay because he said that he didn't want that to be the representation. And now he's a spokesman for Hennessy. So I think when you talking morals and integrity, there are some leave-off periods for all these niggas, which is why they should not be your heroes. You need a dad.
I mean, I don't drink.
All right, or you need to join, you need to foster a kid or something, or get you a puppy so you can learn how to build some morals and some integrity. I'm saying, like, this is, I think that's dangerous.
No, it's
I think that's so dangerous. And I think that's why, like, artists now, like, right, Coco Jones, right? Huge fan of hers. Pay a lot of attention to the things that she does. A big part of the reason she's been so successful is because you like her as a person.
Yeah.
Right? The persona lines up with this like image that you also love, right? But if you listen to all of these artists talk now, they all talk about how like there are pieces of themselves that they keep just for themselves. Might show you the house, but don't show you the rooms in the house, right? I think that that's so that they can maintain their own peace, and also so that they can maintain their privacy, and also so that they not selling you a dream that they some perfect, wonderful person when they got their own shit going on behind closed doors.
Right.
So I think like to look at these artists like they were ever our heroes was always a dangerous perspective to have. Because these is just men. They just women. And they making mistakes. And some of those mistakes happen in front of everybody, and some of the mistakes we not finding out till 15, 20 years later. But I think that that's a dangerous narrative. And I don't think that's how things should be carried on. These artists are not expected to raise your children for you. So all of that, like, because that was a big argument with hip-hop, like, early on, right? That they were bad influences on children. No, nigga, that's his father job.
Yeah, right.
That's his mother job. That's his grandmother job. I ain't looking for no rapper to be my hero. These just men.
Yeah.
And men make mistakes.
For sure.
Just because a nigga stopped selling drugs, don't make him no damn hero. This nigga ain't Superman. Superman wasn't Superman.
Superman wasn't Superman.
No,
That's good.
when you look at Christopher Reeves, right, the original OG Superman, right? I watched a documentary of his. I think it won an Emmy this year, actually, right? The documentary was fantastic. It was produced by his children, right? And I remember when Christopher Reeves, because he was a part of that documentary, right? He talked through it a lot. And then his children spoke, his wife spoke. He talked a lot about how, like, when that Superman movie came out, right, the original one in the 70s, it was a joke to people. How are we going to turn a comic book into a real film that's respectable? And also, he went to Cornell and then to Juilliard, right? So he was somebody who was cultured. He was somebody who was intelligent. He came from a certain kind of environment. And when you come from Juilliard, theater is what is respectable.
Absolutely.
Being in a Superman movie is a joke. Even now, the Marvel movies don't get the credit that they deserve when you look at the Oscars, right? They'll give it to an Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
won't give it to a Barbie.
Right, yeah.
There's a reason behind all of this. There is still like a level of seriousness that needs to exist for you to be respected in certain spaces. The Grammys are another example of that. If people don't take your music seriously, your art seriously, you are not rewarded for that on those larger platforms.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But like when he was talking about being Superman, he talked about the perception that people had of him because he was Superman, as though I'm this moralistic and this wonderful, this perfect in real life. And really, he was out here smashing everything. You hear me? Superman was out here being Superman. You hear me? His first, you gotta think, Christopher Reeve's first movie was Superman. Do you know how many tickets Superman sold? How much money it made in '73? $1.7 billion. Those are Marvel numbers right now.
Hold on, back then?
He did 1.7 billion on the first Superman.
crazy.
It is ridiculous. There are movies who don't touch that right now.
Over the lifespan.
He did that
of
in
the movie.
'73.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That movie made 1.7 billion that year.
Reeves.
So
Cuz
your
in the
first
chair?
Christopher Reeves
Yeah.
that was in the chair.
The original
The first
Superman,
Superman
yeah.
movie made over $1 billion. I know. I watched the documentary. Make sure y'all check that out. That
I'm
junk
gonna
was
check
good.
it out, yeah.
So I'm telling you, he made over $1 billion his first movie. Imagine your very first movie being that big of a success. How does that change your life? The same with your first album.
Yeah, man.
Your first album go triple platinum. How does it change your life? I think Ye is a great example of all that can come from immediate success when the music actually drops, right? We're not talking about all the work that it took to get there. Because prior to Superman, he was at Juilliard. Robin Williams was in his class. They were roommates and best friends. Prior to Juilliard, he was at Cornell, Ivy League. His father was a theater scholar, laughed at him when he took that Superman role.
Wow.
And never respected him for it. That's his daddy. But imagine your first album, after all this work you put in, all these years you put in, go triple platinum. Your next album go double platinum. Your third album go platinum. That was the trajectory of the Superman movies. The first jump, $1 billion. The next movie, close to $1 billion. The third jump was a flop at around $300-400 million.
That's a nice
You done
flop.
gone triple, double, and platinum your first 3 joints out. How does it change your life? And how does it change you as a person if you're not already set with who you desire to be?
If you're not already set who you desire to be is key.
We skip over the moralistic aspect of all of these things
That's the
because it's
title of
not
this
cute.
show right there. But,
That's real. We skip over the moralistic aspect of things in this era of music because people are more concerned with being successful and being popular than they are with being good people.
Way more than it ever has been.
But there is a price to all of that.
Absolutely.
With everything that Ye is, all that he became, all that he accomplished, there is no one who would trade lives with him, knowing what they know about now. Hindsight 2020, though. What would you have changed? What if Ye could? What do you think he would change about his life if he knew it would have ended up like this? So you need to think about that when you create. Because there are long-term effects to your creation.
right.
Not just because it's not just about you, right? I listened to y'all heard that joint, Me and the Devil walking side by side. Y'all never heard that? So it was in the Sinners movie. Right?
Okay.
all right,
So
right.
I was like, what is that? Right? So it was haunting and it was weird and I was interested in it, right? So I was like, all right, let me see what's going on Apple Music. I wish I hadn't done that. I listened to that song on my headphones and it made me scared. So much so that I turned it off. I truly believe in the spiritual element of music,
For sure.
right? Because of the roots by which it comes, right? This is coming from our ancestors in our villages where we really from, right? That beat, that rhythmic nature that we all have as black folks, right? It comes from our ancestors. Right, and then that transition, that soul transition in the music that kept us from killing ourselves on that boat, from jumping into the water with the ancestors, right? And then that same rhythmic soul kept us sane on them fields. And then that same rhythmic soul kept us sane on them buses. And then that same rhythmic soul is keeping us sane now in the midst of this administration. Music has always been the thing that carry you through a revolution.
For sure.
And Chaz said once before, like, the beauty of, like, the world being in chaos is that that's usually where the revolution stems from. And especially when you listen to the music, right? The climate by which we live in is the music that gets expressed through black folks, especially the music that I feel like is the deepest and that I think people who are students of the game love the most, right? But as a result, there is a spiritual element contained in all the music that you're listening to. So you need to be careful what you polluting yourself with.
Yeah.
What you ingest is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've listened to music that, like, I saw where it was coming from, and that scared me. And I'm turning that off.
For real. Yeah. Spot 'em, got 'em? Nah.
Yeah.
Young boy?
Nah. I can't listen to that in my
can't do
headphones,
it,
man. I'm
cuz.
scared to listen to that. I don't even want that impacting my spirit.
Exactly.
And that's not because I'm, like, above anybody. Lord knows I love Jesus, but I cuss like a sailor, and that's just how it is. Lord forgive me. But I'm telling you, like, I value what I ingest. And especially because I took 2 months off from everything, right? I really was in a very weak and a very vulnerable spiritual place. That's the reality. And we ain't getting into all of that because that ain't none of y'all fucking business. But the truth is that I'm a human being, and I needed some time to myself.
Right.
And so during that 2 months off from everything, including social media, I made a point to be careful of, like, what I was putting into my body, what I was allowing into my mind, what I'm allowing into my spirit. Because I know that I'm in a super vulnerable place, and this is the worst position to be in, to just be listening and letting anything pollute you.
Yeah, man.
A lot of this stuff we listening to is bullshit. Now, I find great music every day on Instagram, honestly, just looking through people's reels. I'll listen to a song in a reel and be like, damn, what is that? And then go download it. That's the type of person that I am. If I think it's good, I'm going to support it. It's going on a playlist. I'm listening to it all the time. I've been listening to Body by Ira Starr for 3 days. It's fantastic. Okay? It gets me going. All right? Makes me want to move my shoulders. I love it. But I do think it's important to be careful what you're ingesting.
Nah, absolutely.
Because you can pollute yourself. And especially, like, if you're in a space, if you sad, you do not need to be listening to no sad-ass music.
Nah, for real.
If you're not in a good space, you need to put things into your mind, put things in your ears, put things in your body that's going to build you up. Don't keep listening to and watching this stuff. That's going to make you feel even worse. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You sad now, you watching all these sad-ass movies.
Still.
You feeling bad now, you watching all this, you listen to all this destructive-ass music.
Right.
You ain't feeling like yourself. You hanging around with these people that ain't got nothing going on. Letting all these bad influences corrupt you, man. Bad company corrupt good character. And that's the same with what you putting in your life. Music and all of that. It's all the same, man. Bad company corrupt good character. You need to be careful with what you putting in your life. From down to what you listening to, down to what you wearing. I wear a lot of Supreme, and everybody know that, right? This Supreme right here. Supreme be putting out some stuff that be having, like, some demonic stuff on it. And I wouldn't even wear that on my body. Cause I don't even want that type of energy nowhere near me. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just certain things I think I'm in a space where I don't even want to participate in. Especially the music I listen to, because it's such a big part of my life.
Yes.
Right? I wake up listening to something. Go to sleep listening to something. Right? I'm feeling like I'm moving a little slow at work. I'm gonna listen to something to get me going a little bit. Music is a huge part of, like, my daily routine. And I think I've learned now more than ever the importance of feeding yourself positive things, especially in what you listening to. Because you'll find yourself, like, rapping songs, singing songs from 15 years ago. You ain't heard that song in 100 years, but it come on the radio or it come on your playlist and you know it word for word, just like you heard it yesterday.
For sure.
Just like you was listening to it on repeat when you was in high school, right? That's the power of music.
Yeah.
A song you haven't heard in 15 years. I know every LL Cool J song right now. I want a girl with extensions in her head. Bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. A Fendi bag and a bad attitude. That's all I need to get me into good music. I still know all that shit, man. Like, I'm trying to tell you. I ain't heard that song in about 10 years. I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I can still give it to you bar for bar.
Bar for
So
bar,
to act like it's not important what you listening to, what you feeding yourself, right, would be crazy. Because this is stuff that sticks with you without you even knowing. There's a subconscious factor to music. That's why it's so important. Like, honestly, Zach, that's why I really love what you have coming with this album, right? I had the pleasure of listening to 3 of them joints. I'm so glad you sent those to me. First of all, the sample on the first joint was crazy.
Bless you, I produced
The
it.
message is fire. Like, and I think like what you're doing in your music is so important. It's so powerful. Because I do think like there's like a level of like spiritual loss in our community, right?
Yeah.
I grew up having to go to church every Sunday. I grew up in a house where I did not get a choice.
Fact.
My parents are ministers, and my mama was not having it. You had to get your butt up, and you had to go to church on Sunday until you was old enough to go to college and then make some different decisions for yourself. I had to go to church every Sunday and every Thursday and every Tuesday. All right? Tell y'all something. Bible study was on Tuesdays. Evening service was on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Children's Bible study was at 10 a.m.
Talk
Regular
about it.
service started at 1. That's how it was when I was a kid. It was late services back then. They had multiple services back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just one. You got to go to the 10:30 if you need that thing. But back then you had 3 services.
Yeah.
You go to the 8, you go to the 10, you go to the 1.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up like that. So I ain't had no choice. Like, but I think like as a result, when I stepped out on my own, even when I went to, I think I was going to Bible study like every week when I got to college too, right? I happened to find a great church out there. This redneck named Ron Yost. I love that guy. He was self-proclaimed redneck, right? But I loved him because like he was so different from us culturally. But he was so honest, right? He had addiction issues and like all of those affected his ability to be a father, who he was as a husband, and then God changed everything, right? So getting a word from somebody who was like a real dude every week, I think was important for college too, because you around so much foolishness when you're in school, right? You like, it's like sex everywhere, quite frankly. I don't know how many of y'all went to school, but the rumors is all true. It really is. Like, the rumors is all true. There's sex everywhere, happening all the time. Your roommates is doing the nasty right next to you. They don't care that you laying in that twin bed 10 feet away.
Right there.
Things is happening. So you around a lot, and you got to think, like, you 17, 18 years old, right? And you around people who, it's a lot of 6th, 7th year seniors. I ain't gonna say no names. I know some of y'all be watching this, but it was a lot of 25, 26-year-old niggas who couldn't seem to graduate, and here with 17, 18-year-old girls. You are exposed to a lot all at once, and that exposure only grows as you getting older.
Yeah.
Because you go from a dorm, right, that's being monitored by a resident assistant to maybe some off-campus housing where you got an apartment all by yourself. Now, you can get 20-year-old kids who ain't never had no money or no responsibilities an apartment to themselves. What do you think is happening?
yeah.
It is a lot of stuff that goes on in
Stories,
college,
yeah,
right?
man.
I'm a witness to that. All right, not I didn't participate. You know, I was mostly watching from the sideline. I don't want y'all to think nothing. I'm just saying, you see a lot of things. So I think it's important, like, to make sure that, like, one, you give your kids, you know what I'm saying, you give your youngins under you a certain level of, like, spiritual foundation so that they know who God is above all else. Because I think there's going to be a time where, like, you could lose touch. Right? You don't got to go to college. You just move out of your parents' house. You got your own place for the first time. You got your own car for the first time. You got your own money for the first time. A lot of people be wilding. You need to know who God is so that when you're in a situation where it's just you and God, you understand that you're not by yourself in those moments.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it can feel like that, right? When everything is good and you up, you can forget about God because of how good things are. When everything is bad and things are looking terrible, it's easy to forget about God because you feel so alone. But if you have learned to have a foundation of God in your life, whether things good, things bad, you praise him all the same.
Straight like
And maybe you praise him a little harder when things going wrong because you're looking for a healing. But the reality of it is, like, you know to praise God in season and out of season. Right? And so I think as a result of that, I'm also careful of what I put around myself. Not because I'm, like, so special or nothing like that. I just learned throughout my life that, like, when I'm in a sensitive place spiritually, when I'm vulnerable, like, it's certain things I don't want around me because I'm too open and I'm too susceptible to what this is saying. You could fall right into, like, whatever you listening to. You listening to a bunch of glow really telling you that niggas ain't shit and you in a bad place in your life. That's what you feeling. And you'll find yourself manifesting that in your life. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to be stronger than your habits. I think that's a dangerous game to play with yourself. For real. You're not going to be stronger than your habits. Your discipline is what determines what your success is going to be on every level of your life. Whether you're an artist that's been doing it 5 years, an artist that's been doing it 15, a writer who's building a business with his wife and children, somebody working a corporate job. It is necessary to know these things and to create habits in your life that strengthen you. Because if you create habits and discipline, even when you're not motivated to do what's right, or even when you don't feel your best, even when things is falling apart all around you, because you have the discipline of a routine, you'll keep going until things improve.
Yes.
And I think we forget that, like, the importance of a positive routine, right? You get up in the morning, you need to thank God you made it. It's a whole lot of folk who didn't,
Yes,
right? My birthday was October the 24th. One of the first things I did on my vacation was thank God, because I have so many friends who did not make it to see this age. I have lost so many people in this life for all kinds of things, man. We live here. We know what's going on in this city. You lose your friend. I remember losing friends at 12, 13 at the Neon from fights, people getting shot in the parking lot. Man, we 15, 16 years old, you losing your friends to gun violence, right? Graduate from school, you lose your friends to a car accident. I've lost friends to suicide. Like, you lose so many people in this life. It is important to know who you are and whose you are, and to create habits in your life that reinforce that. And then to let that speak in whatever creative endeavor you have.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you don't know who you are and whose you are, that confusion, that foolishness that exists only in your own mind, now it's manifesting in everything you do. Now everything you touch got confusion, and God is not the author of confusion.
But that goes back to what you said earlier as far as setting the foundation. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you said that, that kind of resonated with me because I got 2 sons. So, like, I'm big on, like, every night we praying. You know what I mean? Like, it's to the point now my youngest, like, he know how to pray. You know what I mean? I just say, you know, what you thankful for? And he said, I'm thankful for my family. You know, he go down the list. And just setting that foundation. Even my oldest son, like, you know what I mean? He's starting to get into his own smelling himself. But it's always, we pray before every game. You know what I mean? We got our ritual, you know what I mean? Things like that. So it's setting the foundation for the next generation and for yourself. Because you can't lead, you know, kids and family members and your tribe if you're not right within yourself.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And to be a good leader is to be a great follower.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't accomplish anything all by yourself, right? You got a tribe behind you. You got a family behind you. You got people that love you behind you. And their support, their love, their encouragement is pushing you into the next phase of your life, right? So that means that you got to be that for everybody that's coming behind you, right? And a part of setting a good foundation in your own life is being careful what you put into yourself. Not just what you listening to either. Not just what you watching either. What you eating.
Talk about it.
And we on, oh my gosh.
What you putting in your,
I
what you putting
just
in your
went
body?
ranting about this, but Lord, I can go there. So I'm like, no, what you put in your body is a reflection of how you feel, how you see yourself, and the things that you will perpetuate. Things that you don't even have a conscience to do. Like, please, yo. You know, respectfully, and I just went on this rant on Threads, yo, and I went online with it. Yo, I do encourage y'all seriously to take your health more seriously.
Sure.
Your gut is for real. I just talked about this in scripture when it talks about 1 Timothy 5, where Paul was like pleading with Timothy, like, yo, you know, don't just drink water, but also wine for the sake of the ailments of your gut. Like, a lot of your illnesses starts here.
For sure. Parasites, all types of stuff.
Everything. The toxins that will multiply can turn into diabetes. It can turn into pancreatic cancer. It can turn into high blood pressure. You name it. We all know the sums of it, you know, throughout our family's histories, you know what I'm saying?
And then there are certain things that impact our community a little more heavily than they impact anybody else's, right? Diabetes is primarily a black and brown
Primarily.
because
you know?
it's a part of, like, they're like things you would call like social determinants of health, right? So we ain't gonna get into all that, but the reality is when you live in certain kind of communities, when you come from certain kind of environments, right, there's less healthy options for you,
No
right?
question.
So, like, in my neighborhood, I live in a food desert, right? So when I say food desert, like, if you don't have, like, good quality food within walking distance of your home, right, you live in a food desert. Because not everybody has a car. Not everybody has access to public transportation, right? So if you don't live in an area where you can access good, healthy food, then what are your next available options? Now you eat McDonald's all the time. Now you eat Burger King all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell y'all this, like, and Chaz know, right? I was vegan for like 2 years, and then I stopped. I miss chicken so much, y'all. All right? I'm keeping it a buck here. I don't get on this joint and get the line. I don't do that. All right? I was missing chicken bad as a motherfucker. I'm being real. All right? My uncle got a food truck. He make Jamaican and jerk chicken every weekend. He offered me a pan of that jerk for free, and I folded. It happened. All right? I folded. All right? Okay? But I'm going to tell y'all this. This is real talk. And I said I was going to do it because I just got back from Greece. For those of y'all that don't know, travel vlog coming out soon. I'm editing it now. I said when I got back from Greece, I was going back vegan. And that's not because of any reason other than I can feel the difference.
Yeah, especially eating
And
pork,
being
yeah.
clean for 2 years. First of all, I stopped being vegan, not because I had any problem with it, but because I felt like it was making me heavier, right? Your body plateaus, takes more carbs to get full, right? And I'm not a person who goes to the gym ever, right? Anybody who know me from a few years ago, I was like almost 200. So I went vegan when I tore my Achilles 2 years ago because I was terrified that I was going to gain even more weight and that the Achilles wouldn't heal, right? Because so much of your weight is positioned on that.
Yeah.
So I was scared, and my brother's Muslim and devout, and he was like, "This is the best time for you to try it. You sitting in this house, like you ain't even buying your own groceries. Mom and auntie doing that. Tell them to buy you fruit and vegetables. There's no better time. You sitting around." I said, okay. I lost like 60 pounds just sitting on the couch doing nothing. And then over time, I felt like my body was plateauing. It took more carbs to feel fulfilled, to feel full, and then you missing that old stuff. I miss chicken. I missed it bad. I'm trying to tell you. I missed it bad. And so I went back telling myself, oh, I'm going to do a high protein, low carb, right, to balance out the fact that, like, it takes more carbs to feel full as a vegan now. And eating chicken for the last, like, few months, I just don't feel good. Like, these are real comparisons I'm making in my own life now, right? A lifetime of, like, this food system that all black folks is really eating under.
Yeah.
Vegan for 2 years and feeling like, oh, this sucks. This is so awful. I hate this. But, like, looking better and feeling better, right? There are, like, very obvious physical implications that are occurring as a result of this, even though I hated it. I don't care what y'all vegans say, turning watermelon into ribs and all the stupid shit y'all be doing. It's ridiculous what y'all be got. It's ridiculous what y'all be having going on in these vegan situations. Stop turning this motherfucker. Like, if I see one more vegan try to tell me that a carrot is a french fry, I'm gonna lose my shit. No, it's not, nigga. A french fry is a french fry.
Them jokes good too.
Y'all getting on my nerves with that. But I'm telling you, like,
make it work.
Make it work. Yeah, you do.
and not being vegan for the last, like, 3 months or so, I don't feel as good. So now, like, I know for sure. And I was like, all right, I didn't want to do it in Greece because different countries have different cultural systems, and you never know, like, am I going to be able to find food like this?
Yeah.
I actually ended up eating vegan for probably the majority of my trip anyway, just because there were a lot of options and I wasn't expecting that. They vegan food was weird, though. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it's better for you. I don't know. But them vegan burgers, it felt real like eating a Jello burger a little bit. It was kind of strange. I ain't love it. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's healthier for you than what we eating over here because so much of this is processed.
I'm about to say that's any country.
But I could feel the difference. Like, and having a direct comparison to my own body, my own experiences. Like, nah, I'm going back vegan. It's trash and I don't like it and the food suck, but I felt better as a human being. And I think there's something to that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think also too, like, it's so many chemicals in the food that we eating. I feel like it creates like a little bit of an imbalance. Like, I felt more balanced, frankly. Like, this is just me being real. I felt like I felt more balanced in being a vegan. Like, I had more control.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And then in eating chicken, like, it's like, okay, like, I could see, because I had started picking up some weight, right? I know y'all see this shit on camera, but I started picking up some weight, and I was like, nah, I'm going high protein, like, low carb. I don't got time for this. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, I'm losing the weight again. Cool. But I didn't feel as good about it.
Word.
It was
But
crazy.
What kind though? I'm on paleo right now, so I can do chicken, steak, fish, turkey. You just got to be
Nah,
grass
I'm going
fed.
clean. Like I'm going like
Straight
100% clean. Cause that's what I was before. Like I
Gotcha.
wasn't like vegetarian or like I don't believe in pescatarian. Let me tell y'all whole something. Let me give y'all some good things. Let me tell you seafood boil every weekend eating whole something. What you eat comes out your pores, right? You wondering why that coochie not smelling right? It's cause you eating too much seafood. That's for real. It's throwing off the pH balance with all that mercury. I'm trying to give you whole some good advice. This is real.
Oh man.
You gotta stop eating them seafood balls 3-4 times a week.
I
You need to
never
eat you some
had
fruits
one,
and some
bro.
vegetables and drink more water.
But crab cakes and salmon cakes is forever. I don't care what you
I'm not
say.
saying you can't eat them. I'm just saying you can't eat this stuff all the time.
Nah, all the
It
time.
come out your pores, and
I'm
especially as a
laughing
woman.
because I'm doing that January 1st. So
I ain't messing with it. I ain't like and honestly
I'm just like, hey,
I ain't messing with it.
Respect
Like,
your sincerity, yeah.
like, and all honestly, like I feel like, especially when I first went vegan, I think I had went back and ate fish like maybe the first like week or two. I ain't feel right.
Really?
I really did.
But what kind of fish?
I think I had sea bass. I had
Word.
Chilean sea bass. Right, I made sure that it was clean so that I could really test it. Right, if you say you're gonna go back and eat something as a test to see, like you don't, if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go back and eat," I still ain't had no fried chicken, like to this moment.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not what I'm gonna go back and eat. Go back and eat some jerk, some curry though. Shout out
Nah,
to
I'm
Uncle
with the
Paul,
jerk.
baby. But
100%
if I'm
with
gonna
the
go
jerk.
back and eat something, right, in lieu of all of this, then I'm gonna make it as clean as possible.
For sure.
And
yeah.
as somebody who is like really like taking on the task of like, no, I'm only eating chicken and vegetables mostly. Like I'm like you talking chicken salads like every day. I'm good with that. Right? Just because you get like almost in a routine as a vegan because there's less to eat. Right? So you kind of get used to eating the same things over and over again. You just find new ways to do it.
Yeah.
As somebody who like is making a direct comparisons, no, bro, never again. I'm good for life off
Never
that meat.
again.
Like, pause.
Wow.
I'm good for life off meat. I don't like. It doesn't matter what it like does for you physically. Like from a spiritual, emotional, like internal standpoint, I felt better as vegan.
I agree.
And honestly, too,
My
I
wife
think
vegan.
there's some guilt associated with it too. Like when you eat clean for a long time.
Yeah.
You start like when you go back and eat stuff you don't feel as good in general.
Nah, legit.
There's like
Fact.
because it messes with your psyche at that point.
It does. It does.
So
it
like
does.
I think I'm sure that's another component of it. But just like from a physical standpoint, nah, I
I
ain't
respect
eating.
that. I'm juicing for the week. She do it with me.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in juicing?
No, I believe in juicing. I don't believe in like how I put this. I'm careful about detoxes for extended periods of time. This is why. I think you want your body to adapt to not only as healthy a process as possible, but actually what's normal. So if I juice for a week and detox, yeah, I might see some great results from that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I would probably be quicker to do like a water fast just to like reset my cell structure than I would juicing. Because a water fast is literally just to like reset the human body.
Yeah, I got a fast next week.
Yeah.
What?
I'll join you in that. Call me.
Yeah, so I do that every month. Yeah, Unity fast. We do that every first of the month, Thursday. So we stop eating the Thursday evening, and then we eat again Sunday.
Oh, nice. Call me when you do that. I want to do that with you,
different.
Chaz, for
Yeah.
real.
I did
But, like,
3 days no eat.
I don't want to. Yeah, see, like, that's my thing. Like, I want to make sure that I'm creating, like, realistic, healthy habits for myself. So if I was to juice for a week, in my case, I've done that before, right, as a vegan, and I might lose, like, I don't know, 5-7 pounds a week, whatever it is, right? But then the next week when I go back to food, it's almost like my body is confused by that. And I think it has, like,
Depends
a
on how
negative
you go
effect on your
back, but
eating
yeah.
habits that way. So I don't want to, like, I'm good with, like a fast of certain things or a fast of like certain times or like a water fast to just kind of reset myself. But as far as like juicing and stuff like that, I don't want my body getting confused about, because what happens is you'll juice that week and then lose some weight. If you keep that going for another week, you'll lose even more. As soon as you go back to the food, you gain all of it back.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because you threw your body off.
Yeah, I'm
so I
going
just want to
vegan, right.
keep my body on like a consistent
Oh, for
pace
sure,
because I'm
yeah.
genuinely trying to like lose weight.
Yeah.
So like I want my body to know like, no, we're doing this, but we're doing it in a healthy, consistent fashion.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's cool to, and then trial and error for me and my
Yeah,
wife.
facts.
My wife been vegan for going on 14, 15 years now.
She's a soldier, boy.
Nah, legit. She lost 70 pounds.
Yeah,
doing
that
the
shit is
paleo.
real.
But paleo vegan. I told her, I was like, shoot, I can eat chicken again? Oh, nah, I'm doing that. I'm about a month in now. And I was like, you know what? I felt like you said, like I felt like my body is telling me things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I said tomorrow is steak day. After church, and then for the week I'ma just do juice, straight juice, and then after that I'm going back to being vegan.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, I feel different. Like it's like, all right, like I had put on some weight. I'm like, okay, I done lost a little bit of this. I can see the difference in the mirror. Cool, I like it, but I don't feel good. So what point? What's the point? Like I'm looking better, but I don't feel better.
Yeah,
And I think like that too is a problem with like the nature of kind of like our thinking as a community.
for sure.
It's like as long as it looks good, it is good.
Nah,
Like, no.
nah,
I'm no longer of that mindset. I need to feel as good about
Yes,
it as it
absolutely.
looks on paper.
I'm telling you.
And for me, like that's really the only determining factor. I love chicken, y'all. Okay,
Love chicken.
and I was eating the shit out of it when I was in
Love
Greece. It
sardines.
was fantastic. All right, but I don't feel as good, and that's enough for me to be like, nah, this ain't it. And that's the thing too. You gotta start like,
Yeah,
at what
that's
point
fine.
do you trust yourself too? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
man.
at what point are you listening to your own psyche,
That's a
listening to
lot
your
of-
own body, and trusting the God within yourself to say, okay, listen, like I hear the unction of the Holy Spirit, or I feel this discernment kicking in, and like I know this ain't going like it's supposed to be going. When do you like stop ignoring that little voice in the back of your head?
Bruh, like, and what you
You in the
consume. Or if not, it'd be the
Tell me.
loudest damn.
Y'all niggas, be
Especially
waiting till
on
a
that
foot guy
bed.
get amputated to start listening to yourself.
And I've seen that in real time with my homies, people's like, and it's sad, bro. It go from one leg to two. Next thing you know, you gone. Like it's sad as a mug, and we've seen it, bro. We've seen this in timeless affairs and people and our family and people that we know, and we glory be to God that we still here for real, especially with all the turmoil. You know what I mean? Women friends that I have, they say they got PTOS or they have inflammation in their gut that is
real.
preventing them from digesting.
Yeah,
certain
PCOS
things
is
properly.
huge in black women these days.
Yeah, like
It's the chemicals in the food too.
it's just
Raising
it's
your estrogen
what you
levels
consume, Mo. Like for real, like
That's
we,
what I'm saying.
we gotta get a handle on that seriously as a
Yeah.
community, Mo. Like, or we not gonna live past 70. Like
Yeah,
that's
what I
just
mean.
that's just straight up and down,
That's,
bro.
yeah, that's what it's at, man.
Your consumption is important, whatever it is. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? Whether that's what you listening to, whether that's what you feed in
feeding
yourself, whether that's what you're
yourself,
reading,
or who you around.
who you around. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The environments that you put yourself in. Like, I think as an artist too, especially in the beginning, it is so important to be careful who you put yourself around.
Yes.
Not even just in the sense of like you don't want nobody like messing up what you can have for your future or things like that. It's, to me, it's bigger than that too. It's also about your sound. I think when you hanging around people like and they're creating a certain kind of sound, there are parts of you that will mimic that completely unaware. Right? So they creating something that sounds like this. You in the studio with them, y'all spending time together, y'all using similar producers, they putting you on with producers. So now you end up sounding like all these people that are around you. Right? So instead of you being an individual, you sound like you're part of a
Sound
collective.
like you part of it, yeah. I remember my man said
You know what I'm
that
saying?
one
So
time.
I think that's important too, like especially when you new, like so that you can figure out who you are, the kind of sound that you want to create, the kind of
Yeah.
artist that you want to be, the kind of message that you want to put out,
Yes.
right? So that what you're creating, the art that you're giving the world, is true and it's authentic and it's going to last, right? Because that's why Nas is Nas. Truthfully, that's why Jay is Jay, because like there's an authenticity. It's not always positive, and especially in Jay's case, but the reality is like
Yeah, that's why I think Jay the later career. That's why I said became a fan of it, because I do know, being in the business, I do know, especially after this first album, he was chasing the sound.
for sure.
Let me see this, because this is what success is like. But I think when he got older, he became his own boss. He said, "You know what? This is me,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when I started to like him again.
for sure.
Respect.
I respect
Yeah.
that, and I respect authenticity in like any artist, even if I ain't necessarily messing with it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why I like country music too. I'm a big country music fan.
That's what's up.
So
For
I'm
real.
a real live country music head. I love country
Respect.
music.
My mama
Not that
does.
Taylor Swift shit. That's not country, but
It's not.
it's not. It's pop music. And I mean, shout out to you know, southern pop
Swifties,
music, but
yeah.
it's pop music nonetheless. But I think like that's why I love country music, because there's like an honesty in it, right? Especially when you listen to like the old country music, you know, back before they was stealing all their music from black artists. I think like there was just an honesty
Yeah.
in that music. My cheating hard, like that's like
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it's some
bro.
country got some real stuff in it. Like, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
You'd be
What's wrong with
surprised.
you,
I've been to
bro?
a country concert and I was
I
like,
love
oh,
country music,
yeah, this song.
and I really like was
Wait,
like,
when did you go to a country concert?
you're curious about
Ironic.
that too.
I was in the military. It was one of them-
Who was the artist?
I can't tell you. But it was tough though. It was a female artist actually.
Word.
And she was dope as shit. Like dope. I'm like, oh, this song John Rock. I can fade this. I can fade this.
Love me some Johnny Cash, some June
Keith
Carter.
Urban.
He said, when would you?
Right.
Nah, I had to know that,
Nah,
cuz,
nah.
like, for real. That was a pause.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm telling
man.
it was lit.
All right, but okay, well, flip the script real quick. I just had one question for y'all. I might know y'all answers already, but would you rather have the work ethic to grind every day on your music, but you sacrifice family time, or prioritize being present for your wife and children, but potentially limit your music career growth?
Say that
I meant
again,
to say
Chaz.
Did that
or,
sound like
or
one?
Yeah, say it one more
prioritize.
time, Chaz. I
Or
think I missed
prioritize.
it
I'm
this
sorry.
time.
I'm sorry, y'all. Would you rather, it's been a while, would you rather have the work ethic to grind every day on your music but sacrifice family time, or prioritize being present for your wife and children but potentially limit your music career growth?
It's a good one.
Who's first?
You.
Me?
Yep, because you spoke first.
Okay. Well, open and honest, I probably had about 3 big opportunities that could have landed me in some lights, land me in some headlines. And because, not just because of the skill, you know what I'm saying, I did feel at one point that I did have a nice little package, you know what I'm saying? I rap and sung before it was cool, before it was Drake, I'm a child of Lauryn Hill as well. I had a band at that time. This was around the time booming when Anderson .Paak and Chance the Rapper was getting their due. And I did felt a little discouraged, like, dang, Slim, like, I remember it was hard to market, a rapper that can sing. And now we got all of these different variations of what I aspire to be, but how do we fit in, especially coming from the DC area, right? And I was working. Shout out to Mo Better and my brother Legacy, who gave me a shot for me having my first, headline show. And I just kept going after that. And like I said, I'm grassroots. I didn't have no PR. Bammers from each show would reach out and be like, hey, bruh, can you come at this club? Hey, yo, can you come to Wicked Bloom? Can you come to Tropicalia? Can you come to, the Pinch? And I'd be like, yeah. And as it grew, shout out to Nature Boys, shout out to Uncle John, you know what I'm saying, that was at them shows with me. It just kept growing and growing and growing, but while it was growing and growing and growing, I wasn't. And I mean that internally. I had opportunities where it could have went like this for me. I had label heads looking. I had bammers on live screams that had like 10 different executives. It's like, hey, yo, him. I've had that. And it never came to full fruition. And I stand here before you saying that the reason why I'm able to create now at the level that I am is because I had my priorities in order. My family, God first before all. Love to my Lord and Savior Christ. My family comes before everything now.
As it should.
And, of course, that's not being talked about in our music for real, for real. When we came up loving the rappers that we did, we say that LL was like one of the first, vulnerable rappers, but he's married for like 30 plus years. I can't recall how many songs he actually talked about his wife. I can't recall. Those things were private, and I respect it. But what I'm saying is, for mirroring purposes, I haven't seen that in many of the MCs that we love. They didn't talk about their family. They talk about taking care of them because of the bars that they got to spit, but they never got into the details like that. Sure. I respected Nas. I respected Lil Brother that actually talk about the blue collar experience, and I mirrored those guys as like, yo, I'm not Lil Wayne. I'm not, I'm not even Joe Budden. I'm gonna talk about my life and how that translates. But the thing is, you get so centered on it, and the reason why character does play a huge part, being a Jay fan, being a Nas fan, even a Biggie fan, I'm big on your life will be used for honor or dishonor.
Mm-hmm.
Your life, as you see it right now, and prayerfully your legacy precedes you, will be used for honor or dishonor. So the things that you chase, the things that you factor in on your daily regimen, it reflects every bit of part of you, good or bad.
For sure.
Your flaws gonna be what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we grow daily, glory be to God. But I have finally gotten to a place where I'm not chasing anymore. And the reason why that's important to say is because all we see right now is chasing on another level that we didn't come up with. And I thank God that, I am, old enough, but at the same time young enough to be in this middle pocket that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
We see where it's going and we see what's currently happening, but when AI is in the picture now, we got fake artists, we got digitized
Timberland
personas.
doing a fake an AI artist is crazy to me.
Digitized personas is, bro.
Come on,
Oh
Timbo.
my gosh, bro! It's crazy. And
that's always been the case.
How so?
Again, when we talked about character and artists, they move it digital, but even the artists, because they was characters, not really them, not showing the real them.
Right.
That was AI.
I see. I get. Okay.
I get what you're
It
saying.
was still AI, but
Okay.
now
It's all fake.
all fake.
It's more exposed.
More
Gotcha.
exposed now, and they just say, "Hold on, all right," because eventually the real human AIs we was controlling, they get older, they mature, they get a conscious.
Yeah.
Let's avoid all that now and just really have my own AI machine because we perfected it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because this robot ain't gonna get a conscious
Yeah.
and this type of thing. But before it was the same thing.
Yeah.
No, that's real.
The same thing.
And I mean, from the perspective of the industry, I can see why it makes sense to those idiots because it gives you total control all the time, right? How many artists have we heard who put something out that they didn't want to put out that wasn't successful, but the label made them do it, and now the label dropping them like it's their fault. Like, nigga, I told you I didn't even want to put this out, and now you mad at me because I put it out and it's not going. I told you it wasn't going to go, right? And even when we look back to, the artists who have, paved the way throughout history, Marvin Gaye, right? Barry Gordy did not want to put out what's going on.
Factual.
They fought about that album.
big
Went
fought,
back and
yes,
forth
they
about that
did,
album.
yeah.
But him putting it out and it becoming the success that it became is what allowed him to have creative freedom for the remainder of his career. But it makes total sense to me that the labels would want to use AI because it gives them total control all the time, which I think will be its own revolution. Because the truth is that most of you label heads are fucking idiots. You don't know anything about music because you're not tapped into any of the cultures that are creating it.
What that makes it sad because that says a lot about the consumer, right? So years prior, I can control you, put out what I want, and y'all eat it up. Now, and I ain't gonna lie, one of the AI tracks I like, and that's the sad part about it.
Oh, no, we wrapping it up right here. Man.
That's the sad part about it.
No, you just blew me, Chase. Jew, give your answer to Chase. Would you rather question? We getting the hell up out of
telling
this
you.
joint, man.
What is this joint? I feel like
so
smacking a nigga today. That joint right
I've been
there.
going so long that Chase is into the AI music.
I'm not saying I'm into it, but that's just where it's going, and it's sad. But they can take control all the time because the consumer eats up. Y'all accepted this for so long.
Nah, he's right.
Nah, Jew, answer this question. I'm ready to go now. You pissed me off, Chase. Answer the
I don't
question.
play it off camera.
For me, like you said, the balance. I'm gonna go with the first option. It's to the point for me. I know the hard work that I gotta put in to get to a level where I'm happy with where the art is. I have daily conversations with my kids. You know what I mean? So they understand it's not just daddy leaving because he got to do music. It's because he's trying to get to a certain level. When my son see me put on a jersey, jerseys is my thing. I'm the flyest nigga when it comes to these jerseys. Mitchell and Ness holler at me. Let's do a partnership. Let's work. But when my son sees me with a jersey, oh daddy, you about to go do a show? It's like that. You know what I mean? My oldest, he understands. Or my dad about to, go rip the stage. He been to a couple shows before, so he understands, the everything that comes around with the music. So I'm gonna go with the first option for me. I don't want to miss out on basketball games and baseball games and things like that, but that's part of the sacrifice to get to where I need to get to, so I can provide and put out this dope ass art that I got. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
Touche, man. Just always remember, kids spell love Time.
Ah, facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I ain't no parent. Don't listen to me.
No, I mean,
I'm
she
just
right.
talking for real.
She right. But that's what it said. He said, he bring him with him.
Yeah.
That's if
Nah, that's
you gonna
real.
do it.
Nah,
Bring
that's
him.
good. A lot of people don't.
Bring 'em
Nah,
with
but
you.
I
That's
respect that because I
respect
came
for
from a
real.
household like that. So I respect that. Like, my mother was a DC firefighter for like 35 years, right? And if you know anything about the firefighters in the city, they work weird alternative
Weird
schedules,
hours.
right?
My
you might work
godbrother, I just left
48
around
hours
that
straight
time.
and then not have to work the rest of the week. You might have to work
Exactly.
2 days
Yeah.
and 2 nights and then be off for 4 days. That was my mom's schedule my whole life. She worked 2 days, 2 nights, and it was all 4 days. And it was always that. So some of them 2 days, 2 nights fell on Christmas. She missed a lot of Christmases. She missed a lot of Thanksgivings. Like, that's just what it was for me growing up. And
my
I mean, she was able to provide me with a certain kind of life. And I'm very grateful, very thankful for that. I've always been able to go to private schools and college and get a master's. And there are things that have occurred in my life as a result of my mother's sacrifices of time. But you do miss those things
Yeah.
when you're a kid. I
Yeah.
think you understand them when you get older, right? You understand the sacrifices because now you're an adult and you have to make your own sacrifices,
Yeah.
right? So your perspectives change, and perspective is everything.
Mhm.
So I think as an adult now, like, my mom and I are so close that I get it. But those were hard days as a kid, right? You miss your mom not there on Christmas, your mom not there on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. You spending that with your auntie and your grandma and them. It's just not the same.
It's not
you know
the
what I'm saying?
same. Yeah.
And it has an effect. So, I support everybody getting to it. I support everybody getting a bag by any righteous means necessary. Because I don't think you should be selling your soul for no money.
Straight like that.
Especially considering that the value of the dollar is dropping every day, beloved.
And that's why that's why it is dropping. It has to, because of that. Like, they did a good job of distracting us. We gotta get this,
For
and
sure,
then
yeah.
they know, especially moms. They know if we could keep them away from family, family is their number one threat.
I'm telling
Yes,
you.
it is.
And honestly, like, in retrospect, I think I'm as close to all of my family, as far as my immediate family, as I am, because there were like Christmases and Thanksgiving where she wasn't there, and so it's like, yeah, you with auntie and grandma, and all the rest of your family is coming over because they know like your mom not there, and they know you gonna feel a way about it. So like, no, we gonna all pinch in and make sure this holiday is special. So I feel like it gave me an opportunity to get close to the other parts of my family, and now that like I'm in my 30s and like you don't have to be, right?
Yeah.
You have your own life and your own responsibilities and your own mortgage and all of that. You don't have to stay close to your family, but we choose to do that, right? My family, we make a conscientious choice to connect, to have game nights, to talk, to reach out to one another, and to be there, because I do think like my mother accidentally imparted like this love and desire for connectivity and family, right? Because you realize in those days like how much you need these people. And so, I'm with everybody getting to what they want to get to, accomplishing their dreams, accomplishing their goals. I've been very fortunate in this life, so I ain't trying to stop nobody from accomplishing their dreams. I'm a hit every continent. Maybe not Antarctica. They got some rules about that, man. I see what y'all doing over there, but you know what I'm saying? Except for Antarctica, which is a long shot, I'm hitting every continent. I'm 45 countries in right now. I'm aiming for 100 over the next 5 years. So, I mean, I ain't trying to stop nobody from getting to what they want to get to, man. But just don't forget what's most important.
Yeah.
And don't forget, what should matter most to you, which is who you are on the inside and how you affecting and loving on the people around you, man. And on that note, we're going to get up out of here. You know what I mean? It's been a great show. I'm so happy to be back. I'm thankful to you guys for tuning in. Make sure y'all continue to do so. We back every week from this point forward with season 2. Jude, Zai, I'm going to let y'all give your outros, and, man, we going to get up out of here.
You can find me on all platforms. It's DFGJU. Go stream that Sophomore Slump Volume 2 out on all platforms. Actually working on another project. Just fresh out the stew, like
This nigga pumping out projects like
2
Larry
hours
June,
ago.
y'all.
Yeah, like that's why I said the moniker's just working. You know what I mean? So I'm really just working. Look out for the tour and the new merch coming real soon. And yeah, man. Get that.
Respect. Hazai Gold, Haziaiah, Gold, Gold, on all platforms. I still got some music out, stuff that I've been putting out the last few years. Am I Forgiven album should be coming out next year, first quarter. Executive produced by Judah on the beat. Salute my OG. And we got some things in the works. You'll see as it rolls out. I'm a little patient, a little bit more diligent and delicate these days. So, yeah, you'll see it as it unfolds. I promise.
Nah, honestly, like I done heard a few tracks off that Am I Forgiven joint. It's gonna be worth the wait, y'all. That's real. Like, and y'all know I don't like everything. Okay, I don't like all of this stuff out here. I think these beats be ass. I think these lyrics be worse.
No.
I don't like everything, but I like this.
Bless
I
you,
mean, for
bless
real.
you.
So when that comes out, make sure y'all go get it. We always big Jew fans up here. That's why we keep inviting him back. You know what I mean? So
Likewise.
make sure y'all support him. He got that album with Sports Center Dre. So make sure y'all support. Make sure y'all show love, man. These local artists, these local talent, and the infrastructure is already built. It's right here. So do what you got to do, you know what I mean, to reach that next level of your life. But just make sure you keeping God first in everything you do, man.
Absolutely.
I'm, of course, your host, at Mia Was Here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the You Weren't There podcast on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. You can find us anywhere under that name, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Chaz?
Hey, we out, man. Y'all have a wonderful evening and whatnot. I appreciate y'all brothers for real, though, chopping it up with us and getting us back warmed up. Chaz DL, we out. Audiobook's still out, of course. The Bird about to do. I will be working on my next one. That's coming out too, and that's called The Bread on the Table. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We out.
Love.